guys. What's going on, everybody? Little impromptu live, right? Because I just want to clear couple things up, and I wanted to listen to the video that I could not find last night that now I have. So, and I think it's a good testament to what I was trying to explain last night when I was trying to find this video, right? Okay, so before we get started, thanks for being here. Who do we have? We have Sonia, Just Connie, Denver Gigi, Ronnie, Meow Now. Meow Now. Remind me of a little kitty. I love it. So what we're gonna do here, I want to read something to you because last night there was a lot of confusion, right? And I'll be the first one to admit, like, I'm not the greatest at explaining things sometimes. And in my head, it comes off better than when I listen back and I sound like, oh my god, I didn't say this or I didn't say that, you know? And I think that caused a little bit of confusion. So let me just make it a little bit more clear about what I was trying to explain last night, right? So, what I meant was, you know, I'm aware, a lot of people were like, the van did come back. The police took the van out of their yard, out of the dirty laundry yard. They took it out. I'm like, I know. Hey, Matt. Hey, Jen. Hey, girls. I know that they did, right? Kelsey, hi. I know they took the van out, right? I know they took the van. I get it, right? That's not what I was trying to say. I know the van came back to Florida. It definitely did. I'm not disputing the van, right? What I am disputing is who was driving the van, right? Who was driving it, right? We don't know. We know the van came back, and my whole theory is this, right? I believe that they used license plate ID to tell when the van was back in Florida, because in this video that I'm about to show, hey Snoop, and are you kidding me? Hey, Josh basically says, right? He basically says, yeah, we use, you know, license plate scanner, gas station this, and then he mentioned something about gas station footage, and he keeps saying the van. He doesn't say Brian. He doesn't give a name. He doesn't say at no point in time. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to be corrected. I'm willing to. I really am. I'm actually asking for help because I can't figure this part out, right? Where have they ever said, right, we saw Brian? Now, also in this video, right, they said they knew his location, right? But I don't know if I believe that. I really don't, especially since the dude allegedly walked out with a backpack. We're supposed to believe that he walked out of his house with a backpack and got into a silver Mustang and nobody noticed? Are you kidding me? That makes no sense, you guys. Right? No one other than his family has seen him. No one. And even in this video, this was like this video has a lot of the points I'm trying to make, right? Because he'll tell you, Josh will say, we went to the door, we asked to talk. No, we went to the door because we wanted to talk to Brian, and we were greeted by we went to the door trying to talk to Brian and his family, and what we were met with was a phone number, right? He never said Brian gave us the number. He never said he saw him. We were just greeted with a phone number, right? And I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it, right? I don't believe the police ever had eyes on him. I just don't. I don't. And I think that that's why they lost him. They lost him, quote unquote, lost him, because they never had eyes on him. I'm telling you guys, something's not right with this, right? And know what else is not right? Now, I'm not, I don't work for the DA. I don't have a badge. But why was there never a search warrant for Brian's house? Is that not weird? I mean, they went and got the van, right? So they knew something was up. Why didn't they just get a search warrant for the house? That was Gabby's. That's where Gabby lived. That's where Brian lives. Why? Why was there no search warrant for the house? If they were able to take the van, why weren't they able to get a search warrant for the house? Hello. So, again, right? How did Brian leave his Mustang and head into the woods? According to Josh, the parents said that, the car was left there in the woods, right? Where they were now searching for Brian, right? So we're supposed to believe he left his parents' house, got into a silver Mustang with a backpack. Nobody saw him, right? Nobody. and that he drove to the woods. He told his parents that he was leaving, that's where he was going, right? Now, there's a rumor going around that he left a note or something. I think that that's just a rumor, because I don't think anybody's confirmed that. From what I understand, we watched last night, we watched Josh say he told his parents where he was going, right? So he goes there, and then all of a sudden his car, his Mustang car, makes it back into the driveway a day later on Wednesday, along with his parents' car. So hold up. Their son left to go away. He was probably in a bad state of mind. It kind of sounds like, because Josh wouldn't comment on it, so it must be, right? I'm just assuming here. Keep in mind, I'm just a commentary channel. So if he said he was leaving, he was in a bad state of mind, I'm going to this park, blah blah blah. The next day, it seems to be, right, that his parents went looking for him, maybe, and then they found his car, and one of them drove it back to the house, right? And what did they do? They waited 3 days. 3 days. Their son was so mentally, distraught. He was so sad that it took him 3 days to tell law enforcement that he was quote-unquote missing. And here's the thing, I guarantee you, we gotta remember, we had the Trump dude out there, Jonathan, with yelling with the megaphone, all those reporters, all these people. Yeah, I know Friday was kind of a big day and there were more people there than normal, right? But there's been reporters outside of that house for days. Not one person has come forward to say, hey, I saw Brian leaving his Mustang. Not a single person. And we're supposed to believe that? If you're out there, if you have been outside of that house and you have read an article or you saw somebody with footage with Brian leaving, anything, if you just send it to me. I'm willing to look at it, I'm just going by what I see, okay? So, again, the same time that the parents brought the car back to the driveway, right, his car, right, from when he went missing, then his sister all of a sudden wants to talk to the media, right? To say the last time she saw him was when he got back. Okay? A very strange timing in my book. So this leads me to believe he was never really home. Remember, the police said that they had an idea where he was, right? They said that on Thursday, but he had been missing since Tuesday, so 3 days. 3 days. Yeah, he was never really there, Misty. Maybe, exactly. That's another thing I keep meaning to bring up, right? Either he was never really there at all, right? Because I don't think he was, because nobody saw him. Nobody. Not a single person. They saw the van, not Brian. And I think that they feel kind of silly now, because they've said they've had eyes on him, blah, blah, blah. When they said I had an idea of where he was, right? This is what I think that they meant. I think that they meant, yep, we've been watching the house and he hasn't left, right? Because let's be honest. The dude wouldn't talk. We know we have to follow criminals. Like, if we can't get any information from them, whatever. I think when Josh said, we have an idea of where he is, they probably assumed he was in the house because they never saw him leave. They never saw him leave because he was never in the house. Hello? Does that make sense, you guys? So what's your theory? Maybe the dad flew out to pick up the van and gave him cash. Yes. Thank you, Snoop. That is very well could be what it is, right? It could be. His dad could have flown out. Somebody could have flown out. His dad could have had one of his friends fly out. Who knows, right? Maybe somebody went out there, gave him money. Somebody else drove the van back, and these cops up here, and this dude up on the screen here, who by the way, Josh's job is to be a public service spokesperson, and he sucks at being a public service spokesperson. I'm just saying. In my opinion. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he just kind of sucks at his job. And last night I got some comments on my video from people who live in the area, and they were like, we don't even like him. We never have. And I can see why. Because he makes little comment digs here and there that kind of just rub you the wrong way, in my opinion, right? But yes, I think somebody else drove the van back, right? And maybe let Brian run. I think that that's a possibility at this point because we've never seen Brian. We've never seen him. And all the little things that have happened since then are just kind of like, huh? Like, yeah, you had an idea where he was because you assumed he was home, and you assumed he was home because you assumed he was the one driving the van, right? Because he'll even say in this thing I'm gonna play in a minute, like, we saw the van on like gas station stuff, like the van. Okay, well, who's driving it? I don't know. Do you know? Does he know? Do the police know? Does anybody know? Anybody? Was his dad a cop? I don't know. I've heard that before too. I heard that I keep hearing things like his dad was a cop and his mom works for the DA. That's what I heard, right? But if that was true, why would they hire a lawyer from New York who doesn't even specialize in criminal stuff, right? Do you think the family is having us look over there all while he's somewhere else running? Yes, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. I do, and I might be wrong, you know. Could you? I just none of this makes sense. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna play this video. This is, like I said, this is the one I was looking for last night that I couldn't find because, you know, la-ti-da over here. But I'm gonna play it. I want to pause it on certain parts and be like, see, listen to how he said that. Now this video is from, I think it's 3 days ago. Let me double check here. It's not new, okay? So don't get it twisted. This is not a new video. This is from September 15th. Okay? So was this Thursday? Yeah, this was Thursday, right? I don't have a calendar in front of me here, but I think the 15th was Thursday. So this is the day before Brian goes quote unquote missing, right? So here we go. Let me mute myself.
All right, thank you for being here. Obviously, I think it's very important that we get information out for anybody who may have seen Gabby or her vehicle, which we've sent the photos today. We're doing everything we can to bring her home safely or potentially hold anybody responsible for hurting her accountable. So I know that the press release, I think it did have some additional details in there that we haven't talked about before. So I think most of it was self-explanatory. However, I'm certain that you guys have some questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. So I'll go ahead and let you do that.
What decided to, why is he a person of interest today and not yesterday?
Well, yesterday we were not the lead agency in this case. So, you know, as things have evolved, I think we're now at a comfortable level. I think there are things that we know in this investigation that we're trying not to release. I know you guys are all doing your best to get some of that info. But we really think for the integrity of this investigation that it's important that we not release everything we know when we know it.
And what is the reason for naming him? Why did you guys take over as lead agency?
It just made more sense. You know, the family, first of all, the agency in Suffolk County has been fantastic. You know, no issues there. This was just a situation where that happened to be where the family reported Gabby missing, and the fact that the van is here and both of these people that are surrounded in this case are Northport residents, so it just made more sense.
Yes. Find any evidence?
We definitely processed that vehicle yesterday with the FBI. Certainly there was some material in there that we'll be going through. I don't know that we're at a situation of releasing all of those details. I think everybody in this country apparently is concerned for Gabby's well-being. We certainly have had an abundance of media attention from across this country, every major news network. I mean, it's not too often we have 15, 20 cameras and reporters sitting out in front of the Northport Police Department. So, yes, I think the answer is we are concerned, and we're working as quick as we can to get a resolution to that. Yeah, I think we can all make come up with an idea of what that means. I don't know that we're at the point of solidifying anything. We don't know what Brian knows. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we're hopeful to talk to him. He needs to talk to us. We need to know exactly where he was, where she was, their last locations. And that the fact that he was back here for 10 days, there was, you know, again, the family reported her missing 10 days later.
Do you know exactly where they're at?
Let's spread it around. Yes.
Status on a search warrant of the home?
There is currently no search warrant on the home of Brian's parents.
Okay, why? Why? I don't like him either, Tracy. I really don't. And just to know that the people in the area don't really care for him, I don't know. Like, bro, you got one job. One job. You have one job. You know? And he's just snide, man. He is. And I understand, like, a lot of spokespersons for police departments are come across like that, right? But his condescending tone sometimes to the reporters is really just, I don't know, annoying. But anyways, why is there no search warrant? I don't know. I'm literally asking you guys, like, if anybody here, like, knows any legal stuff, anybody knows why, they can point to and be like, hey, well, is it because he got a lawyer right away? And who knows, right? Like, why is there no search warrant? This was this girl's home. Why can't they go into her home and search for clues about where she is? Why? She lives there. Brian lives there. It should be somewhere they look, right? You would think. Why was there no search warrant? If you're listening, if this is you're on the replay here, and you know, please leave it in the comments. I'm willing to listen. I'm not an expert. I am literally asking why there was no search warrant. Why? No body, no crime. I understand that, XX, right? And I also understand that Brian, as of right now, is only guilty of being a shitty person and a shitty human. That's literally the only thing he's guilty of, right? As of right now. That's it. I understand he's a free citizen. I understand all that, right? But when the girl's missing, the number one suspect is usually the significant other, right? So why wouldn't they go looking in there? I don't know. Someone let me know. All right. It's up to the judge's discretion. I wonder if they ever tried to get one, though, right? Did they ever try? It's not like they tried to get one and it was denied. I mean, because if that had happened, then the web sleuths or reporters would have found that, right? Because that would have been public information. It would have been public information if a judge denied a search warrant, you know? This is a high-profile case. I don't think a judge would deny it. I think a judge would be more than happy to let somebody in that house, law enforcement in that house. That's just my opinion, right? But hey. They have no evidence of a crime. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like in other cases where there hasn't been evidence of a crime, they still want a search warrant to check people's houses sometimes. I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the state or something, right? Alright, let's continue here. Oh, hey, Mario. Pepperoni is here. Mario, I meant to ask you last night. Obviously, you're from around here, because when I listened back to my replay, I'm like, I didn't even put two and two together that that dude talks like me. Alright, let's hit play.
Where was the car found? At his house or house?
Correct. The vehicle was found at Brian's parents' home where Brian and Gabby reside.
Do you know where Brian is?
The vehicle was found. The vehicle.
I don't know. It's minute by minute. At the moment, no, I do not.
Josh, why was he named a person of interest? Why did you come to that conclusion?
I think most people would come to that conclusion in this case. He was the last known person that we have information was around her. How you define person of interest is up to you, but certainly we are interested in talking with him.
What does not cooperating look like?
One at a time. Who's going? You've gone.
What does the non-cooperating look like? What is he?
Okay, so here's the situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney. That is the extent of our conversation with them. It's my understanding.
We went to the door wanting to talk to Brian and his family. And essentially, we were greeted with a number for their lawyer, right? We went to the door wanting to talk to Brian and his family. So who gave you the number? Who did you see when you were greeted at the door? Let's play that part one more time, because that's a part that really... Oh, Emily D. Baker went over that? She did? About the probable cause thing, warrant? Okay, cool. I didn't know that. Thank you. I love Emily D. Baker. I left last night. I was offended at rude comments towards Donald Trump. What? Oh my god, what are you talking about? Donald Trump. Somehow I don't think you were offended if you're from Southie, okay? Mario. I don't know if I believe that. I think you're messing with me. But alright, I'm gonna play this part back real quick.
Family, and we were essentially handed the information. Okay, so here's the situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney. Situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney.
What is he?
Okay, so here's the situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney. That is the extent of our conversation with them. It's my understanding we have had some conversations with his attorney, but certainly nothing to the level of providing us the details that we would like.
How are you planning on getting those details?
Well, look, we all have rights in this country. We all have the Fifth Amendment right. You know, we're hoping that people just do the right thing.
What do we know about the details in Utah of this alleged response from the Moab Police Department?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of information on that. I know that there was an incident in Utah prior to this. You know, that could potentially be some information we'll have later today.
What called the cops in Utah?
Again, I don't know.
Another incident in Utah where 2 women were killed that were also living in Indiana. Are we possibly talking about this?
I've heard that theory. I am unaware of us linking that at this point to that.
And what extent of information has the lawyer provided to you?
I don't have those details.
Josh, yesterday you said you guys were sifting through data and trying to find really a timeline. Have you guys been able to find her cell phone?
That is something that we are wanting to locate for sure. You know, yeah, you know, we've got detectives working around the clock with the FBI, using every technological resource known to man. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
Detectives were going door to door talking to neighbors yesterday. Are you able to share what that was all about?
that was because of you guys. The neighbors have certainly been inundated by the media. I think that they have had numerous people knock on their door and drive in their yard. So I respectfully ask you to, I understand you have a job to do, and we certainly respect that. But obviously people there are being impacted.
Josh, what would you say to anybody out there that may have seen Gabby and Brian? What would you say to them if they have information?
Sure. Well, we now have this new tip line that we're just want everything to funnel through. So 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's what we're hoping for. That will really help us streamline things. I know in the past we've had some FBI connection and a Suffolk County Police Department connection, but now we're really hoping to use this one particular tip line. The FBI can help us vet. As you can imagine, we get a lot of goofy phone calls and stuff like that that really aren't helpful, that really send us down some rabbit holes that are just a waste of our time. So I really hope that if you have something viable, to reach out to us.
Are any of your detectives out west helping, or are they all here?
I'm unaware of that.
And is there anything your office can do to force him to talk, like such as seeking an arrest warrant, taking him into custody? Are you close to that?
I think we're just pleading with him at this point to please speak with us. We need to understand those details. You know, they put out a release yesterday saying they remain in the background. That is not good enough. We need the details.
Do you plan to escalate those requests?
As far as doing what? I mean, we all have the Fifth Amendment right in this country not to speak. Anything under the law that we are capable and able to do to try to get information, whether it be through Brian or anyone else, we will do.
Josh, Brian allowed to drive the van. Digital forensics.
Getting to it one time. Yes, ma'am.
Is Wyoming still the last known location? Is there a search going on there right now?
We do not have a search that we've organized in Wyoming. It is my understanding that the family themselves from New York has flown to Wyoming. I cannot confirm that they're doing their own search. I have heard that. I believe that to be true, but I cannot confirm that.
Has the FBI
Well, one second. We got this. Yes, ma'am.
was Brian legally allowed to drive the van? Was he co-owner or insured? Any implications?
The van is in her name. So as far as insurance-wise, that has not been a conversation that I've had. Certainly the fact that it was in her possession I mean, I don't know that any of us are currently worried about a stolen vehicle charge. We're trying to get to the bottom of this.
How does the FBI join that search?
I do not have knowledge of that, ma'am.
How does NBC feel about the investigation right now? Any closer than you were yesterday? I know it's only been 24 hours.
Right. I think with every minute, more details come in, more things are worked on. You know, I can tell you right now, we do not have, you know, a definitive answer here, but they are working on it. I think every day, you know, some of this technology takes time. I think some requests through, you know, whether it be bank statements or app usage or whatever, some of those issues take time. Thankfully, the FBI is helpful for us in this and probably speeding some of that up.
At this point in the investigation, is Northport PD still hopeful that there could be a positive outcome in this?
Absolutely. You know, we have to do that for ourselves, but more importantly for the family. We want them to understand that if she's out there, we're doing everything in our power to bring her home. But obviously, we have a role to
All right, I'm going to pause it right there for a second because I see this a lot, right? And I understand why people ask it. A lot of people are like, well, they can't get him on theft. They can't, you know, arrest him for, you know, stealing Gabby's van. Well, like, here's the thing, you guys. They live together, right? Gotta remember they live together. So if someone in your house takes your car and you don't object to it, right? Is it stealing? You know? If your brother walked by you and took the keys to your car and started driving and you never called to report him, is it stealing? You know what I mean? No, not really. So, you know, and I can't believe how many people are like, arrest him for taking the van, for stealing the van. We have no proof it's stolen. In order for it to be stolen, the owner has to say so, right? And plus they live together. So, but from my understanding, that's how that works, you know? But let's listen to the rest of this here.
You know, plan for the worst.
And Josh, do you have any leads related to the evidence of the van? Do you have anything on how play?
Yeah, I mean, that van was processed less than 12 hours ago as far as with the FBI, the inside. You know, we did a cursory search of it on the outside when we initially got that van on Saturday, but wanting to make sure, you know, you only get one shot at some of these things. So we handled it you know, professionally and appropriately. So certainly not to the level of we're ready to come out here and speak with you all on it.
And is part of the investigation including pulling highway cameras and things like that?
Absolutely. Yep, we'll use everything. Tolls, highway cameras, gas station surveillance cameras, tips, cell phone usage, financials, whatever.
And anything to report from those cameras?
Highway cameras, gas station.
Including pulling highway cameras and things like that?
Absolutely. Yep, we'll use everything. Tolls, highway cameras, gas station surveillance cameras, tips, cell phone usage, financials, whatever. We'll use everything. Tolls, highway cameras, gas station.
So, you know, if you're using those tools, right, and less gas station cameras, and listen, I saw somebody in one of the groups say that they saw him on gas station surveillance, right? Where did you read that? Because, like, I can't find that article. So let me know if you know where it is, right? And just because they see it on surveillance, like, if they say we saw the van on gas station surveillance, yeah, you saw the van, right? So if you're talking about where they said we saw the van on gas station surveillance, that doesn't really help, right? Because, yeah, the van, we know the van came back, right? I'm talking about Brian. Where did Brian go? Nobody laid eyes on him. Was he ever really back? Was he ever really back, or did the police just assume he was because the van was back? And people are like, oh, what do you think, T-Spiracy? The van drove itself back? No, you bozo. I know frickin' vehicles don't drive themselves. Come on, man. Think. I mean, I ain't the brightest bulb on the frickin' tree here, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, somebody else could have drove it. Hello. All right? Let's play this again. Finish this video, I mean. Afterwards, we're gonna look at Brian's Instagram, okay?
Surveillance cameras, tips, cell phone usage, financials, whatever.
And anything to report from those cameras, like when he was
Oh,
driving?
I can tell you that we have received some video footage from different times. Whether that is helpful, I don't know.
Can you share what those times were?
I cannot.
And to be clear, Suffolk PD was the lead investigator before?
The Suffolk County Police Department, yes. And again, I want to be clear, and this isn't necessarily...
That's a great question, right? That's a great question. Have the neighbors, Linda says, I like your little doggy, Linda, it's so cute. Have the neighbors seen Brian at his parents' house? That's the thing. That's another reason why I'm kind of making this video right here, because maybe they have, right? If you have seen Brian outside his parents' house, if your auntie freaking Sally lives on that street, and Auntie Sally hit you up and was like, I saw Brian, like, yo, just let me know. Drop a comment below and I'll tell you where you can contact me and whatever. I'm looking for anybody, literally anybody, that laid eyes on the dude, right? And the only reason why this is relevant, and the only reason why I care, is because in order to get to Gabby, we need to know where Brian is, in my opinion, right? Is he ever going to tell us? I don't know. But I think that what's going on here is like a dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's not right with this whole thing. I don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to speculate on all areas till I do know what it is. It's just, you know. Alright. I think he will ace himself. Yeah. I don't know, man. People who take off to quote unquote, you know, unalive themselves, they usually just do it, right? I mean, I don't know. He could have by now. He could have. But something tells me, I don't know. I don't think I believe that he took off to do that. I could be wrong, you know, but something's telling me that that's not the case, right? And last night I watched some parts of the body cam footage, right? Because I understand that Brian's demeanor, right? His overall demeanor is like not threatening, right? And I think that somebody named Cheese called in last night and was like, you know, Brian doesn't strike me as like the murdering type, right? But I mean, how often do you look at someone and be like, how often do you look at someone and know they're a murderer? I mean, we never know, right? The reaction is always like, oh my god, I can't believe that person was like a murderer, you know? Like, no one knows. It's hard to, like, people like Gabby and him probably killed those two girls, like, they needed money. I don't know, man. I don't think I believe that. I don't. And also, too, and I forgot to bring this up last night, and he has a really good thought, right? Because, you know, I go camping all the time in New Hampshire, I hike, I do things like this, and like, what if, because people fail to realize the possibilities of like breaking your ankle, your leg, falling in between rocks. I mean, who knows what they would do in hiking, right? And a lot of bad things, a lot of freak accidents happen while you're hiking, right? A lot of freak accidents happen, right? It could be possible. Maybe there was some sort of freak accident. I'm gonna go with one of the two. There was a freak accident. He took off and was like, "Oh, now's my way out. Now I can, now I can take off." You know. Maybe he was like, "Hey, we split up. I don't know where I saw her." Maybe she fell, got hurt, and he took it as a way to be free or something, and he just left her there. Who knows, right? And maybe he went home, told his parents like, yeah, we just split up. We're just not together anymore. You know, maybe he tells his parents, last time I saw her, we were hiking so-and-so here, and, you know, we just split up and I left, you know. And maybe he really knows that she got hurt. Or it was a fit of rage, a crime of passion, whatever. Like most of these when two people, Yo Drunk Uncle says, AZ, as you say, AZ, Brian just went to touch the grass for a few days. He'll be back. Yeah, man, touch the grass, I'm telling you. And if you're listening right now and you haven't been outside for a couple of days, you've just been online on the computer like a potato, you know, go get some fresh air outside, go touch the grass, take your shoes off, center yourself, get some grounding out there, you know. But I just find it so funny that I've been preaching about grounding and Brian walks around with no shoes on and he's like the #1 suspect in the country. That would only happen to me, right? Alright, let's continue this. Oh boy.
Important for your story, but this was not a matter of taking over control. This was just what made sense.
Josh, the Instagram account, Gabby's Instagram account, has been restored. Do you have any knowledge what
I can tell you that we were initially made aware of that by the media this morning, and we are looking into that. That was, to my knowledge, that was not something that we have done. Okay?
And his attorney, is he based on Long Island in New York?
He is.
no local counsel has been, to your knowledge?
Correct. We've been provided one name and one phone number.
Are any of your detectives in New York?
Not to my knowledge. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate the work that you do to get this information out. It is important, and we understand the public need for info on this, and we're working for a good resolution, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This dude, man, I don't know. I don't like. OJ's here. Does OJ have isotoners? Don't act like I never told you. You guys are like, OJ, has anyone considered the family maybe hiding him? OJ, absolutely. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Either they're hiding him, or they helped him escape a while ago, right? And they're the ones that drove the van back from Wyoming, right? Utah, wherever. They're the ones that drove it back. Could be. And OJ, the whole reason why I'm doing this, because nobody's laid eyes on the dude. Not a single person. And if there is someone out there, a neighbor, whatever, just let me know, okay? And the thing is, you know how they lost him? They lost him because they never knew where he was to begin with, in my opinion. How do you lose someone you never had eyes on to begin with? Any smart law enforcement agency, in my opinion, would keep eyes on that dude, because like I said last night, now look, there's helicopters, there's ATVs, there's manpower, there's dogs, there's all kinds of stuff, drones, right? Look at all the manpower they're putting into finding this dude. But when spokesperson Josh here, Dippity Doodah, I'll call him, when Dippity Doodah talks about it, he's like, yeah, he's no big deal, he's an innocent person, we can't babysit him. Okay, why you got half of your the troops out there looking for him then, if he's just a average day, you know, whatever? He doesn't seem that irrelevant to me. I don't know many people that go missing that get drones, helicopters, all this other stuff. Oh, why is he important? Why is he so... Oh yeah, that's right, because we need him to get to Gabby. Oh, yeah, and that's why you probably should have watched him. But how can you watch him if you don't know where he is to begin with? And listen, I love myself a good conspiracy theory. I do, okay? But I also, you know, I try to teeter on the line of, hey, that's a fun theory, but it's not real life. But this one, for some reason, I don't know, something's not right. Can't exactly put my finger on it. I think we need the gas station footage. Where'd it go? We need some gas station footage to prove if he drove it back or not, right? And he even said the van. He said the van. Dippity doo da, dippity day. You know. So, anyways, let's take a look at Brian's Instagram, because I keep hearing about his art, his dark art. So we'll go over and take a look at it. So I just wanted to play this video for you guys, and I wanted to, if you're just showing up, I reiterated what I meant, what I was trying to say last night, because I think I confused people, because I have a weird way of doing that sometimes. So, all right, let me bring up the IG here. Okay. All right. I know that I heard that Brian drew Itchy and Scratchy from the Itchy and Scratchy show with like blood coming out of their necks or something. You know, I like art. I like art. I can appreciate art, even dark art. Like, I don't think him drawing some dark stuff like makes him, you know, a bad person. I mean, it's easy to point to it and be like, see, yeah, it does make him a bad person, but I don't know. Art can be dark, right? It can be. Okay, let me try to make this bigger for you guys. Hold on. I don't think I can, actually. Alright, so this is what I was just talking about, okay? Oh, he has a little business card in his photo. It's a knife. It looks like a... Oh, this is an interesting business card. Let me zoom in a little more here. Right? It's a knife as a popsicle stick. Like a straight blade razor, right? At Bizarre Design. It's kind of cool. Not that I think Brian's cool, but I kind of like his popsicle stick thing. That's a nice idea. Anyways, alright, so this was a fun one. I want to give them little bodies with blood spraying from their necks. A lot of gore. Maybe an axe or a chainsaw. generic itchy and scratchy stuff, smiley face. Ooh. The itchy and scratchy show. Yeah. So that's what he wants to do with that. Okay, that's kind of, it's a little weird. I'm not going to say it's not weird. It's definitely a little weird. But I do like the popsicle stick thing he has going on for his little, you know, logo. That's what I'm trying to say, logo. Alright, next up here. Alright, BMO has got to be my favorite character. Also a little peppermint butler down in there. I don't know what that means. Sounds important. Next. Look at, I don't know many, I will say this, right? Just looking at his Instagram, I don't know many guys who are this, who try to make their photos this aesthetically pleasing, right? Like, look at what he did here, okay? Let's just look. He's got his leaf, his plant leaf in the upper right-hand corner, right? And kind of in the bottom right, too. He's got his little plant leaves in there, okay? Then off to the left, he's got a book, a bestseller book. Just enough in the frame to be like, hey, I'm fancy, huh? I'm fancy, huh? He's got that in there, and he's got his car with the grass on top of it or something. And I don't know. I don't know any dudes who are like, oh, I'm gonna take this photo, I'm gonna set up the plant, I'm gonna put my best-selling book over here. I can appreciate an aesthetically pleasing photo, but it's just kind of weird coming from a guy. That's all. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying. So, where they do that at? I don't know nobody like that. All right, next. All right, what does this say? Hold on. Let me read the caption on it first. The effing craziest out of all Chuck's books. Now, he's talking about the dude who wrote Fight Club, Lullaby, about the story about the dude who went on a cross-country road trip and you know, killed some people, right? All right, Chuck's books on my shelf. I can't fathom how he must have written this one. I love to preach all of the insane twists and turns, but all I can say is that I'll never forget the name Rant Casey. I'll never forget the name Rant, R-A-N-T, Casey, or Green Taylor Sims. Me and my fiance read this one out loud together, and boy, oh boy, I can't believe some of the stuff coming out of our mouths. I can't believe some of the stuff coming out of our mouths. Yo, has anybody in the chat ever been in a relationship with anyone, right? Who you guys take turns reading the book? Like, you read this paragraph, I'll read this one, like we did in school, you know? We pass the book around, everybody reads a paragraph. I mean, I know quarantine must have been rough, right? When you know quarantine time, when you and your significant other, well, this was August 2020. Yeah, when you and your significant other are passing back a book. I ain't never done that. Never. I could barely get my boyfriend back when I wrote blogs, okay? I'd be like, read my blog. He's like, I hate reading. I'm like, it's my blog. I wrote it. Read it. Just read it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Never mind pass back a book back and forth to somebody we don't even know. Where do they do that at? All right, let's go on to the next one here. All right. Reading is different than any other consumption of media. It takes more effort than staring at a screen half alive. It allows you to use your brain rather than melt it, and there is no author more stimulating to me than Chuck Palahniuk. Wow, he's got the hots for Chuck, huh? I think he's got the hots for Chuck. You know? No, the police have not found Gabby. You know? This dude kind of sweats Chuck Palahniuk, huh? I like reading. I love reading. I do. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go back here. Is that... Wait a minute. Whoa. Is this Cinderella? Or something? With blood coming out of the mouth? Snow White, Cinderella, who is that? Why is she bleeding from her mouth? You alright, Cinderella? Did the stepsisters get ya? Okay, so we got that one. Next. Your Animals. Again, with his leaves in the picture. Yes, he loves men and blood on women. Yeah, I mean, he has the hots for him in the sense that like he really kind of sweats him, kind of thing, right? See, look, he's got the Fight Club book in the photo, the Chuck Palahniuk, right? And then he's got all his little designs and stuff, right? Okay, so I've taken Chuck's books on 100-mile treks through the AT. What's he mean? The Appalachian Trails, right? Is that what AT is? Through the AT, and there's nothing worse than losing my page. There's nothing worse than losing my page. I'm not comfortable putting some generic marker in between such powerful pages, so I decide to print my own. Okay. All right, that's a little strange. Okay, I think this is kind of like maybe the strangest thing we've seen since we've been here. You like Chuck Palahniuk so much that you won't put a generic marker in between the pages? Huh? Okay. That's a little weird. I mean, I'm kind of weird too, but that's a little extra weird. Extra weird, right? I do like this penguin though. Slide, slippity slide. When you're living on the ice, it's do or die. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Next. Okay. Have you ever lost your page while fleeing a horde of rampaging killbots? A killbot, huh? Well, not anymore with these revolutionary slivers of paper featuring your favorite intergalactic delivery crew, now for sale at Bizarre Designs. Well, he really knows how to market something, huh? Have you ever lost your page while fleeing a horde of rampaging killbots? Well, not anymore with these revolutionary slivers of paper featuring your favorite intergalactic delivery crew. Okay. I mean, I don't know many people that set out to make bookmarks, right? Kind of interesting. I do make. Oh, you know what? I make book. What am I talking about? You guys aren't gonna believe this. I've really made bookmarks. Okay, I have resin. I've made resin license plate holders, resin bookmarks. So what am I talking about? I'm like, who makes bookmarks? Just kidding. I do. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. Damn. Bookmark madness, or maybe lino cut madness. Sometimes I wake up and I've carved a stamp in my sleep. It's concerning. Carved a stamp in my sleep. Is that Beetlejuice? Ooh, look it. That's actually kind of badass. I like the Beetlejuice one. Oh, Leon, look, he got some UFOs over there. All right. Somebody in the comments wrote, this is fucked up, right? Or carved a person up. Because Brian said, sometimes I wake up and I've carved an entire stamp in my sleep. And someone's like, yeah, or carved a person up. Oh boy. Next. Simpsons. Been losing my page for too long. Some of my favorite Simpsons lino cuts turned into bookmarks for sale in my Depop. Yeah, I don't know what Depop is. I heard something about Depop. I don't know if you guys have ever used Depop. Those Beetlejuice ones are dope. Yeah, I think so too. I feel bad like complimenting somebody who I'm like aggravated with, but I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and be fake and be like, he's a horrible drawer. He's not a good artist, you know, just because I don't care for the dude. But I mean, his lines are clean too. I'll give him that much. Those are some clean lines on his lino cut bookmarks here. All right, next. Kang or Kodos, you choose. I don't even know what that means. Sounds important. Okay. A very holy crusty to go with my holy Zoidberg. Any ideas for a holy trinity? Krusty the Clown, The Simpsons. Okay. Speak up. People in the comments yelling at him. His belly's shaking like a bowl of nitroglycerin. Heh. Alright, so you get the point. Like, he's kind of you know, a little different. Nothing wrong with being different. Is this him? Holy crap. What, has he got pink hair? Is this when he had hair still? The big old head. What else we got here? Oh, does he make blacklight stuff? Anyways, let's go back up here. I want to read his last post, right? Because it's kind of like rambling, bumbling, kind of just odd. I think it's really odd. I think as time goes on, and this is what people are trying to say. People are trying to say that when he made this post, right? Now, this post was the day after. Because you got to remember, August 12th is when they got pulled over. August 12th was when, you know, all that stuff happened with the body cam footage. Well, this is his last post on Instagram, and it's from August 13th. So this is the day after they got pulled over and, you know, for their little dispute, right? This is when he's posted it. It doesn't mean that's when the pictures were taken. It just means when he posted this, right? And now it says, okay, before I read it, people think it gives insight to, like, you know, the state of mind he was in, maybe. I read an interesting theory that a couple of these women thought that in the body cam footage, it looked like him and Gabby were coming down from something. In other words, they thought that maybe they had been on some kind of binge. Listen, I'm just speculating that they had been on some kind of binge and they were coming down off something, and that's why they had been fighting, because that's usually when people fight, you know, in relationships, especially if they use together, right? I'm not saying they did, I'm just saying what I've read. And they were like, look at this thing he wrote. He was definitely on something. I'm like, some people are just weird. I mean, some people are just oddballs. They're just odd people, right? Just because somebody writes something weird doesn't necessarily mean that they're on drugs, right? Alright, so let me read this to you. Let me get a drink, too, after this. Alright. It says, humans are primates, great apes, in fact, but I don't know how great we are as a species. Chimpanzees are 98.8% of the DNA. Hold on. Chimpanzees share 98.8% of DNA with humans, our closest living relative. But as I see it, every living creature is in some way our relative, even trees. Bruh, I don't think trees are our relative, but even trees, okay? Only 800 million years ago, animal cells started appearing on Earth, comprised of mainly the same parts and following the same functions as plant cells, requiring oxygen, solar energy, minerals, nutrients, and water. This tree, Juniperus osteopermer, that's the name of the trees in there, I guess, was surviving in only inches of soil in an area of extreme heat and drought. Dude knows his trees, huh? All right. I think our culture, our society, has put itself above all living creatures, creating needs purely to support destructive economic practices. This tree doesn't require an Apple Watch. It doesn't stream its favorite shows or have a microwave oven, pay health insurance, or drink grande iced caramel macchiatos. It doesn't go to Starbucks, bro? Alright. It is just a tree, but you really see geese riding jet skis or wearing designer clothing. I think if we all wanted to breathe air and drinkable water, we all need to learn how to live with less. Now, to me, Jennifer says, to me, his words are more concerning than the actual drawings. I agree with you. I agree. I think art's an expression, you know, it doesn't necessarily... I agree. I think his words are more interesting and give more insight into who he is than his art, right? I just do. You know? I mean, there's people out there who are probably extremely sick, who draw beautiful flowers on landscapes, you know? You can't correlate someone drawing creepy stuff with them being a bad person, right? At least in my opinion, anyways. But, wasn't that an ACT reading passage? What's ACT? I don't even know what that is. ACT reading passage? I don't know. Might have been. Wong says, Wong Hung Lo says, Wong Hung Lo. I am so immature, I'm sorry. He definitely voted for Biden. I love your name, by the way. I love your name. Okay. You guys agree his words are more impactful. Exactly. Okay. Let's see here. This is his second to last post. Let's see what this says. What? Not a lot of biodegradable packaging for on the go these days. That's why I stick with my melon rinds, apple cores, peach pits, and banana peels. Also, most melons contain 90% water. Talk about hydration. Let's keep plastic water bottles off the trail, or better yet, off the planet. You know, I think I'm going to have to kind of agree with that one, right? I think I am. I think it's a great idea to get water bottles off the planet. I really do. I'm sorry. I mean, here's the thing, you guys, right? I used to work at Nestle Waters. Okay, Nestle Waters owns water companies across the United States. Where I live, it's Poland Spring. In Florida, it's Zephyr Hills. In California, it's Arrowhead. In Texas, it's Ozarka, I think it's called. Anyway, so you get the hint. They do water across the United States. Yo, I used to Nestle Waters used to make their plastic bottles out of like plastic number 5, I think it was, and it takes like, I don't know, 150 years for it to even start to degrade or biodegrade or whatever. So next time but they changed their plastic to plastic number 2. It's much thinner now. I'm sure you guys know that the bottled waters are much thinner. Like, you can crinkle them if you pinch them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, my grandma has a hard time opening them because they're so thin. So when she takes the cap off, I mean, the freaking thing goes everywhere. So I'm glad that they made them thin, right? I mean, yeah, bottles of water are bad. And if you are going to use them, please recycle them. Seriously. I'm not here to preach about recycling and whatever, but, like, think about it. Plastic's bad, man. It really is. It really is. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm not drunk says, my ex-husband had schizophrenia and he would write things just like this along with songs, poems, and was a great artist. Hearing his writings are chilling. I am in no way diagnosing him. You're right. I mean, some people who are unwell, will say unwell, you know, are very creative people. They are. In fact, I would beg to say that some of the most creative people in the world, in my opinion, have had mental issues, right? I've talked about this too. I think that a lot of people who are disturbed are great artists and whatnot. I don't understand. I mean, maybe it's a part of your brain that's connected, right? It's all connected. But I mean, like, look at Kanye West. Like, as much of like a annoyance he is sometimes, like, he is very, very talented and he's very, very, you know, out there. A lot of people are. Maybe he's a bad example. There's more examples of plenty of people who are talented who are just strange, right? It goes hand in hand, but yeah. Yep. I believe it. Yeah, only smart people write stuff like that while dumb lame people think it's not normal. No. No. Yes, the afflicted. Okay, I like how you said that, Ronnie. The afflicted are brilliantly creative. Great way to put it. Van Gogh. Thank you, Purific. Thank you. Yeah. Van Gogh is amazing. Actually, I have a Midsummer's Night picture in my room. I like Van Gogh. Cut his ear off, didn't he? Was he the one that cut his ear off? I don't know. It's been a while since I've even thought of, like, all those older artists. But, hi, Lizzie. Alright. Oh, Anais, you van life? I didn't know that. Maybe you told me and I didn't see it, but I van life part-time but have zero desire to put it out on social media. I'm busy being in nature. And that's interesting, Anais, too, because even when I was gone, for the weeks that I was gone, at first it was kind of hard to get off social media, but as, like, time went on, I didn't even think about my phone. I literally didn't even think about it. I went to some beautiful places where I didn't even snap a picture because, you know, I wanted to enjoy the scenery. I mean, sometimes, and I've noticed this at a couple of places that I went to too, like, I'd be at this magnificent waterfall, right, and everybody around me, all the other people visiting, would be recording or on their phone or telling their kids where to stand to take a picture. It's like they were so caught up in capturing the moment that they didn't stay in the moment, right? They weren't present. I've definitely learned over the past couple of years how to be present. And I know I sound like a nut job right now, but, like, I'm telling you right now, it has literally changed my life. Like, meditation and stuff like that has really changed my life. But learning how to be present and not worrying about the next thing. What are we going to do next? Where are we going to go next? Blah, 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 blah. And just putting your phone down and being present. I'm telling you, telling you, just like being present in the sense like you're not worrying about what you're doing next. You're not worrying about your social media account or what your hashtag's gonna be or what you're gonna write as a caption. You know, just be present. You know. Anyways, it's good to be present. I'm telling you. All right, what do we got here next? Anyways, yeah, so that's his account. I'm not gonna sit here and go through every single one, but yeah, both of their accounts, especially even hers, they're like very very artsy, right? They said that she's creative too. Her dad, her mom, I think, said she was super creative and a good artist. Oh, by the way, you guys, if you weren't here last night, right? I was talking about how we watched Gabby and Brian's YouTube channel. I was speaking on how I was really impressed with her editing, especially considering it was the first video she's ever made. It was beautifully put together. Her description was definitely good. I could tell she spent time, energy, effort into figuring out what makes a good description, how it makes the algorithm tick, yada yada, right? So, not that it matters now, but I woke up this morning and I had 3 copyright strikes on one video, which I didn't even know I didn't even know that's possible. I didn't even know that's possible, right? There were 3 on her, from her video, from the music she used, right? It was a content ID claim, basically. So they took my monetization away because the content ID claim picked up 3 separate songs, right? 3 of them. I've never even seen that happen before, ever. So, all you other channels out there, if you have a channel, you probably shouldn't show Gabby and Brian's video because you'll get 3 on 1. Now, it didn't affect my channel. It just took my monetization, which is fine because I don't really care about that on these kind of videos anyways. It's whatever. But, yeah. So don't play Gabby's video. If you do, Content ID YouTube is going to come and smack you for it, so don't do it. But, yeah, okay, so 7 has a great point here. I think he was jealous of her spending time creating her online personality and he freaked out. Could be. I mean, we all know he was the jealous type. We heard from her friend. I'm going to pause this for a second, you guys. I got to get a drink. Hold on. I meant to say I'm going to mute this, but I said pause, whatever. You know what I meant. Oh, Gabby Spotify. I'm glad you brought that up. So here's the thing. Part of me wants to go to the Facebook page in which I got this information from, but I don't want to show anybody's name because some of the Facebook groups are private, and I don't want to put anybody's name up on the screen by accident. I think I screenshotted it on my phone. Hold on. So apparently, people have been following their Spotify playlist, right? And I guess yesterday they had some updates in songs, okay? So I'm gonna read you what somebody wrote. Now remember, I don't know how true this is. This is just what somebody wrote. I don't have Spotify. I have Amazon Music, okay? So I don't know how to go and look at this. I'm just gonna kind of read from the screenshot I have, right? Because again, I don't have Spotify. I'm Amazon Music for life. I love Amazon Music. So it says, their Spotify playlist has some weird song titles on there with titles in order like Motel 6, Giving Up, Running for So Long, Liquor Lip, Loaded Gun, Heaven Up There, Bitter, I'll Be Fine, To Who Knows Where, Farewell Transmission, Monster I'm Free, Unthinkable, Victim of Love. Yeah. And it goes on and on and on. The Smell of Badgers, Underneath the Beech Tree Home, I Fear, The Last Slow Breath. What? If you look there, you'll see a surprise. In the Trees, The Ash Plud's Death. See, I don't know how true this is, because like I said, I don't have their Spotify. And then I'm going to read a theory here that I screenshotted, okay? So this comment, I don't know where it's from, but it got a lot of attention in the Facebook groups, right? before I read it here. So, Alicia says, the news said she has OCD and freaked out after she cleaned the van. Yeah, she was talking, her and Brian, they were talking about flies, I guess the fact his feet are dirty, whatever. So, what I think, and maybe you guys will agree, maybe you won't, right? I think that she didn't have, like, a clinical OCD. I think that was her way of expressing, like, I'm a freaking type A personality. Like, you know, I'm a type A personality. I was cleaning the tent. You know, he was getting it dirty. I'm type A. You know, some people will say, like, I have OCD. Yeah, like I say that. I say that, you know, I have OCD. Like, but I really don't, you know? So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Like, could be. Right? Pull up the Spotify account. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to see it. I don't have a Spotify account to even go into Spotify. I don't even have a username or anything. So I don't think I can. I don't know. I'll try it, but let's see. It's going to be like, please log in. You know what I mean? And I don't have a login. But I'll bring it up anyways. Let's see. Just for the heck of it. Yeah, login. Sign up. Yeah, I can't do it, guys. I don't have Spotify. Oh, and then people are like, their Pinterest. There's baby stuff. Was she pregnant? Listen, guys, you gotta remember something. I had a whole freaking wedding thing before I was ever even, like, proposed to. Like, girls do stuff like that, right? Like, they make playlists for they make, you know, pins for their future child, what they want their baby shower to look like, what they want their wedding to look like, what their table, centerpieces are gonna be. Girls do things like that. It doesn't mean she had a baby on the way. Like, the amount of people that flew with that one, man, I'm like, guys, us girls are crazy, and especially if she was very organized, like her family says, maybe she thought way in advance like that, you know? You don't have a Spotify either, OJ? Yeah, so I don't know, but, what was I gonna do again? Oh, Madame Butterfly says, you're missing some good true crime podcasts on Spotify. Well, tell me the names of them, because I have on Amazon Music, you can listen to podcasts too, right? Yep, OCD is used loosely. I'm a counselor and often use bipolar loosely too. Correct. Yep. I agree. Oh, thank you to my friend Shermar here, right? You let me know last night that the behavior panel, my favorite guys, that the behavior panel did a video on the police traffic stop. Do you guys want to watch that? We can watch that. Let's do that. I love the behavior panel so much. And if they strike me, I will cry because I love them. Alright, let's check that out. I know, Sherma, you probably already saw it. I understand if you don't want to watch it again. If you already saw it, my apologies. But I've only seen, like, a part of it. I fell asleep last night watching it, actually. It's 48 minutes long. Yeah, see, I only got that far in the video, but... Oh, you guys can't even see my screen.
Last week, or last whenever.
Alright, let me share it here. If you guys are not familiar with the behavior panel, these guys are the leading experts in the world with body language and stuff like that. And I adore them so much. Okay, let me bring it up. Okay. Alright, you guys. I'm gonna skip the part where they introduce themselves because
He's missing, and by now I think most everybody knows the story, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. This is going to be part one of that, and we'll do part two in just a couple of days. So we got together really quickly to put this together because we've gotten a lot of requests for it. So again, we're listening to the panelists, and we're jumping in and putting this out as quick as we can. Greg?
Yeah, so this came originally to me, the actual video link, from somebody on a Twitter DM. So thank you for the video link, Sandra. And we'll go look at just the stop and their initial reaction. As Scott said, we'll do more later. This is Brian Laundrie, the boyfriend or fiance of of Petito, and I think you'll see a lot of interaction. Chase?
Yeah, so during this traffic stop, there's some great behaviors here. We want to give you some of these key points to look at going further. There's some good baseline things in here, and there are some things that should maybe shape the way that we're going to look at our future analysis that we're going to be diving into really deep this week. Mark?
Yeah, so you might well be new to the behavior panel. Great to see you here. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and that'll help you get alerted as this case goes forward and others that we're interested in as well. So hit the subscribe button, hit the alerts, and we'll see you again.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Good.
Here we go.
You want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me? No, park?
Oh, it is in park, yeah.
Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
I'm Brian.
Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got missed out supplies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving, I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
You got it, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay?
All right, Greg, what do you got?
So just to frame this police officer saw them speeding at the entrance to Arches Park. In a 15, he was doing 44, and he bumped the curb. There's no other reason to stop them. It turns out they had an altercation the day before or earlier that day at a place inside Moab. He didn't have any part of that, but he does get witnesses later. The big part here to notice is anytime you're pulled over, this is a great opportunity to see how a person responds in fight or flight. And I have good buddies who are highway patrolmen, and they'll tell me the most common word they hear is sorry. We all say, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'm sorry. They just listen through that. They really don't care what your excuse is. They're just there to give you a warning or a ticket. But you'll notice that he is showing he's being compliant, he's being responsive. She is taking the lead and saying, look, I did this, I did that, I did this. She's not saying we were not fighting. When you hear fighting, it's going to cue a certain behavior in police officers because domestic violence, and they know patterns and they're behaving to patterns. So we'll see that come up. But pay attention, they're compliant, they're responding, they're doing as they're told. They show heightened fight or flight, which means increased blink rates. It means creating exoskeletons. It means trying to protect all those internal organs we always talk about. Fight or flight is your way to escape or defend yourself. And I'll leave a lot for the rest of you to talk about and move around that. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so perception management comes to mind around this. We have the female there who is a YouTuber. So perception, as we all well know, perception management is an important thing. I think I detect early on in this, both of them have their hands up, very compliant. Immediately the female turns her head and shows negative emotion on the face directly towards the officer. So it's very clear about showing here is the emotion that I'm displaying to you right now, and yet says I'm not crying. So interesting difference there between what is clearly being shown to the officer, or maybe even happening for her emotionally, and what she says is happening. We've grooming of the hair as she comes out. So again, perception management. Then minimizes her body. That's to be expected in this situation. Most likely under stress, under pressure. I want you to clock the jewelry on the hands. That comes up a little bit later in terms of the scratches that the male has on his face, and that there's potentially been some striking going on, and the jewelry has created potentially the scratches there. But then she hides those behind her back. Again, could be minimization, but often when the hands are hidden, there's some sense of anxiety going on there. the male, very compliant, very helpful in this situation. And yet it then moves to being slightly over familiar, the use of the word buddy there. And I believe, though I can't see it happening, but because of the distances going on there and the apology, I believe he throws the keys to the officer and then apologizes for that. I think it can't be seen, but I'm going to construe that from the distance that they have and the apology that goes on. And there's some frames missing from this body camera as to when the keys go on the dash and when the officer would have to lean in and take those keys. Very compliant, male, pretty compliant there. Again, good baseline for how he performs under police inquiry. Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. Yeah, right out of the gate, they're really compliant. And she's got what I call the show face. She sticks that face right out there and shows the emotion, like you were saying, Mark, the emotion she's going through at the time, even though she contradicts that. When the officer comes up, and he does a great job at de-escalating what he thinks is going to be a pretty iffy situation there. We'll talk about that as we go along as well. And as Greg said, this is a great example of baselining someone, getting an idea of how that person acts when they're under this kind of stress. Because hopefully later on we'll see this guy in an interrogation situation. So they're very compliant. And then after Gabby finishes talking, then Brian says, it was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and the camping got flies and stuff. Then, in a classic Hartley, he chaffs and redirects toward why they hit the bump in the road, what happened there. So he totally gets his the attention from what's happening in the car, outside the car, to what happened before. A change of let's focus on another time, in other words. Again, when she gets out of the car, she gets out, and as he's leaning forward, she's apologizing again. She starts all over again. And then these are all behaviors that indicate stress and that show that they're worried about what's happening. And maybe it's just me, but this is the behavior you see when somebody's hiding weed or mushrooms or something, when they're really, really nice like that. But at the same time, you see it when like we were talking earlier, and Greg pointed out that if you've done nothing, you'll be just this apologetic and be saying you're sorry all the time and just full on, hey, here's what's going on. But at the same time, it gives me.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I know, right? Purific chaff and redirect. I say that in real life too. Anyway, so what I wanted to say here is we have somebody in the chat who is from I always say it wrong. Moab, right? Moab. Anyways, let me go back up and find that comment because I thought it was really interesting. So she said she was from Moab, and I'm like, wow, it must be crazy there right now with all the national attention. And then she said, this is interesting, right? She said, Shay Carson, thank you, Shay. Oh, and me being in Moab, these flies were so bad that week, my son had anaphylactic shock from them. Oh my God. So they must be the flies that bite you, that sting you. Moab is the place that they were last seen, right? And she lives there. So are these flies the ones those big flies that just kind of sting you and bite you a little bit? So as we remember now, why this is important and why I'm highlighting this comment, talking about it, is because if you remember correctly, if you've seen it, the body cam footage, right? Gabby says, I've been cleaning the tent, the flies and stuff. And then later on, Brian says the flies were bothering her. So apparently, according to Shay, who lives there, right, have been the flies were so bad that week. So listen, when you have anxiety and stuff, and you're a very organized, clean person, and you're in a tent, dude, I get annoyed. You don't want flies in a tent, okay? It's super annoying. How do you kill them? Because it's not like they can land on a wall and you can whack it with your shoe. You're in a tent. So, it's really, really annoying when flies get inside tents. And that obviously must have been hard for, Gabby to handle. Let's see. We got black flies in the UP in Michigan that people, campers, fishermen, it drives them insane. Oh yeah, I bet. It really does drive people insane. Flies, I know. We have like kind of like big dumb ones here that like sting you for a second when they land on you. When I went camping, I came across them, but it wasn't like so bad where like I couldn't handle it. But that's an interesting comment. Thank you for sharing that, right? Yeah, Tracy, I can see why somebody like Gabby, who, you know, maybe is a little type A, you know, maybe bothers her, right? Are they horse flies? You guys talking about horse flies? Or what kind of flies? I need to know. All right. Shay says, yes, it was a bed of eggs. Oh my God. And they lay in the mud and you see the rain showers. It made mud and they... Oh, that makes sense, Shay, because Gabby said it rained every single night, right? It rained every single night, so the flies probably laid more eggs, yada yada, right? Wow, interesting, right? Thank you. I wonder what kind of flies. I know, right? Not black flies. In Shermar, okay. Bot flies. Yeah, horse flies bite. You're right, but a lot of flies that aren't horse flies also bite, right? Well, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. It's nice of you. I've never like covered something live like this, honestly. That's why I came back today, because I was like, oh, I found the video I wanted to show, and I think some people were confused, so that's why I'm here. We kind of just have gone into some other things. If you're just joining us, we just, you know, now we're watching the behavior panel, so I'll shut up now. All right, here we go.
The feeling they got something in there too. Chase, what do you got?
Hey, one note, when you say chaff and redirect in this case, I don't think it's intentional. I think this is brain going,
okay.
I don't think it's him intentionally doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be the first thing I said. When he's talking about the curb, he genuinely probably doesn't think the fight or the argument or the camping has anything to do with why the police officer's talking to him. I think he may have redirected to what the officer's probably there about or what he was most worried about. And he nods without an issue to put the keys on the hood. And then when the officer asks if he can pull her out of the vehicle, if she can step out of the vehicle, he nods as well. She doesn't look back at him for confirmation or permission. So he's nodding as well. He's making sure to lean forward so the officer can see his face. And this is what we call hyper-compliant behavior. We train law enforcement. When she steps out, her hands kind of instinctively go behind her back, kind of like she's in trouble. And when she's walking with the officer, her arms are swinging in a relaxed way. There's no reservation or any compression to where like the upper part of the arm kind of stays towards the torso and just the bottom parts swing. Which is what we might expect if there was some fear or maybe she's worried about her own safety at this point. So I think what we're seeing is hyper-compliant people. And in the next video, you're going to see a little bit more of her behavior. I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And again, that apologizing when the first thing out of her mouth is, I'm sorry. So a little heads up there. All right, we good?
Yeah.
You want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me? No, park?
Oh, it isn't park yet.
Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday and camping got flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
You got it, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay?
Let's move along.
I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I have the female that was in the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That's that's my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website, so I've just been really stressed and didn't really believe that I could do any of it. So that's kind of been like I don't know, he's like,
I find that part really sad, right? And I didn't catch that the first time I listened to it with you guys. Like, he didn't believe that I could do any of it, right? That's so sad. He didn't believe. So this poor girl, you gotta remember, he doesn't let her go out with her friends. He took her keys, her ID, wouldn't let her go out with her friend, right? And now she's interested in building this website and this page and this YouTube channel, and you know, he didn't believe I could do any of it. Like, that's sad. And not only did she do it, she did a really good job at it too. And just like really sad, because she is really good at it. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, poor Gabby and she's missing. Like, no, I really think she did a good job at it. And that's really sad that her man said that to her. It's messed up, right? All right, let's hit play here.
like down there. I don't know. We've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of your OCD?
Told me I needed to calm down. Yeah, but I'm perfectly calm. I'm calm all the time, and he really stresses me out. And
I'm sorry, I just want to say this. If there's any men in the chat, okay, listen and listen good. Never in the history of calming down has somebody, especially a woman, calmed down because someone tells her to calm down. Never. Never in the history of calming down. Okay? Never tell your girl, calm down, because that's a surefire way to get her to not calm down. Okay? Bitches 101 with AZ. All right, let's go.
this is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the backseat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Chase, what do you got?
You do that again. I'm sorry.
No.
My mic was way over there.
Chase, what do you got?
There's genuine sadness here. And at first, the first time I watched this clip, I immediately jumped on this abdominal covering. Women are more likely to cover their lower abdomen when they're feeling vulnerable, threatened, or insecure. And men will typically cover the groin under the same.
All right, real quick. This dude right here, Chase Hughes, in the bottom left, he's my favorite, first of all. I like all of them, but Chase, I just love Chase. Anyways, you know what he does? He literally he trains the like real life Jason Bourne type people who are sent out to like be infiltrate like whether it be I don't know. He trains people on how to talk, act, conduct themselves to make deals with like foreign intelligence agencies and stuff like that. Like, he's good at what he does. They all are, like I said, but this dude literally trains real life Jason Bourne type people, okay? Just to give you an idea. The dude on the bottom right, Mark Bowden, he trains, I don't know who the G7 is, but he always talks about how he is responsible for training the G7. The top two people, they're like FBI interrogator professionals, right? Really smart people, so just want to tell you that. I know you're probably sick of hearing me say how much I love these guys, but I do. Let's continue.
Same circumstances. But what I started seeing here is a pattern of being self-conscious about the clothing that she's wearing in the police officer. And she got comfortable and really animated when she's talking about the place where she used to work. And this is a good sign that she doesn't feel that she's in any danger in this moment. And she does not redirect any of the conversation to her safety. She explains her situation without couching anything, hiding, concealing.
Let me just say this,
issues
too,
that she's
because this is
having.
really annoying. Like, look. I understand when I'm talking about, T-type subjects, how people want to come in and troll. Like, I get it, okay? I get it. But, like, this isn't a T-type subject. This is about a family in pain who's missing their daughter. This girl is missing. This is, like, can you just not troll here? Like, normally I wouldn't really care, but, like, it's really not the time or place, It's just really not. So, like, have some kind of human decency and just, like, don't, And I don't even know who's doing it. I'm not talking to any direct person. Just saying. Just don't do it. Just don't troll, please. We don't feed the trolls here, okay?
So she's very straightforward and very honest about what she's doing, trying to start a blog. It's nothing's about how cool she is here. It's all seems pretty genuine, and she seems comfortable being small. She doesn't have to be famous or tell the police officer how many followers she's got on Instagram. She looks back to the van when she's having to go sit in this Tahoe, which is, I think, more of a sign of separation anxiety and not fear, which is one of the reasons they were having an argument in the first place. She's kind of holding her finger there while she's looking back at the van, not out of safety, not out of like, is the boyfriend going to be mad? But I'm going to have to be separated, physically separated from this person. Scott, what do you got?
All right. And going back to the part about how the difference in women and men, Chase and I were doing jury selection this past week, or last week, and we saw the perfect example of someone who was afraid, insecure, and just had no confidence at all with what they were talking about, with, of course, the other side. And we both, as soon as this happened, as soon as this guy goes down and puts his clasped hands like this in front of his groin, we both kind of looked at each other like, "Ah, here we go." So that was in contrast with the attorney that we were with, who was just the height of confidence. It was a great comparison there. Anyway, her hands on her knees and being bent over like that, this is an emotional stress indicator. She's about worn out, so I'm sure this has been going on for a while, because he references it started yesterday, and I'm sure it's been going on for quite a while. When she says I have really bad OCD, and she grabs her chest, a lot of times people do that when they're talking about something from their heart like that. A lot of times we'll see stress when they touch the suprasternal notch, that little thing right there, that little neck dimple, but that's not what we're seeing here. It's just this. Now, I got to watch, I've been watching videos of her father when he's been on the news and those situations. And somebody asked him about the OCD thing, and he said that he wasn't aware that she had OCD. So I don't know if that's what that situation's about. And from observing him, he seemed like his household may be a bit strict, and it may be one of those situations where it is so strict that she may have developed what she sees as OCD, trying to control her space wherever she is, because she has no control of it when she grew up as she was a child. So when she's gone, she's trying to control.
I just want to tell you guys something real quick, right? You notice how it was kind of skipping before? The video was kind of skipping, like the quality wasn't that great, and it couldn't have been skipping, because you can see I have like plenty of it's a head with the whole, whatever the word is I'm looking for, on the red line down there. Anyways, what you can do, and a lot of people don't know this, right? What you can do if that starts happening while you're watching a stream, right? If you go to the screen and you go to settings and you go to quality, right? You can change it to 1080. So what happened was this was on really low, and therefore it was skipping and it was kind of crappy. So I notice sometimes, like, for example, Emily D. Baker, I'll watch her and she'll look blurry to me, and I'll be like, why is she blurry? And then I'll go into my quality settings and I'll change it to 720, 1080p, and like then all of a sudden it's clear as day, no more problems. So a lot of people don't know that, so I just wanted to tell you, because it might be helpful, It definitely makes a difference.
Control to give her some power in the world. So that I think that's important there as we go through this, to think about that. And I thought it was interesting that she would be bouncing from laughing to crying as she goes through this and explains what's going on. Again, the police officer is doing a fantastic job of de-escalating this and calming her down. His voice is just light, like there's no problem. What's going on? You know, everything is really cool. And he listens to her. And by the time this part is over, she's fairly calm compared to the way she was when she got out of the car. And all she needed to do was talk. So I'm sure she's been so frustrated and being probably fairly vocal with her boyfriend, with Brian Laundrie, that and he's not listening. But sometimes people just need to be listened to, and that changes the game. And of course, that's what the police officer is doing here in that case, and it works great. When the officer asks, so what do you do for a living? Everything changes here. She changes from being this real stressed out thing. She's been open anyway, but her illustrators get a little bit larger, and she's very open about talking. That's when we see the hand clasping. It's not the hand clasping and ringing, which we're going to see on him in a little while, but it's the hand clasping of, this is great. This is something I can control. It's something I'm proud of. And she talks about how she worked at an organic juice place, and she was proud of that and happy for that. Then she talks about creating.
So the organic juice place, remember how her friend also said she worked in an organic juice place and Taco Bell? The organic juice place, I can't help but wonder if Brian's family owns it, right? Because when I went to like Ben Verified, I did see that Roberta, his mom, and his dad, they both had businesses with that were registered, and they were actively registered, and they were juicing companies. And then I looked into it a little further, and it said they kind of fix juicers. People make smoothies and stuff like that. So I think that maybe she was working at, one of their places, if they even do have places. I don't know, but it kind of just all adds up now from the stuff I saw, right? Just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, let me mute myself again.
A blog, and she almost says podcast, but maybe she's not sure she's going to do it. But that's when we see her hands clasping together, and actually when her hands come down, they almost slap her leg, like that section is finished. It's not that big a deal, but that happens there, and you may be wondering what that is. So she's clasping her hands when she's talking about things she can control. That's something to remember there in comparison with how we've seen her act so far. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so a couple of things. She does get calm, but she gets calm about the emotional issues. She's crying, she's doing this. When she starts to talk about, he told me, calm down. If you really want to pick a fight with a woman, tell her to calm down. That usually works well. If she's already upset and you say, calm down, yeah, that's a brilliant move. Or anyone else. But most women will not take that well, number one. Number two, she talks about these things that are emotional, and she gets flat about the emotion, about the arguing with a boyfriend, about him not having any faith in her. Those are emotional issues. And when she comes up out of that cry, those are hot issues. Chase, I agree with you. Typically women cross, and I call that crossing the primary sex organs, ovaries versus testicles. A woman puts her arm across her torso when she's feeling stressed, or a man puts them in front of him. And we traditionally call that the fig leaf. It's been what it's been called forever. What you're going to notice here, though, is there's a lot of behavior where she feels guilty for something and she tries to make up for it. Or she feels like what she said is not enough and she does try to make up for it. I worked in an organic juice bar. I was a nutritionist. Okay, those might be related, they might not. But there's emotion in her here, and it didn't start yesterday, I have a feeling, Scott. You take volatile personalities who feed on each other, which I have a feeling we're seeing here, and you put them in a small vehicle and drive them across country, it's probably been going on for days, if not longer. And if you can't see that there's volatility here, her saying, I've got OCD, he tracked dirt in the vehicle, I'm trying to clean it up, he gets irritated. He already started a story before. They're giving us facts. There were bugs, and then there was dirt, and then she's talking about bugs and dirt. So we're seeing something was a trigger moment for them, and we'll hear more of that when we get into the full video, but you can see here volatility. I was a platoon sergeant in the Army. I've seen this many, many, many times. People who feed on each other's, whatever you want to call it. This guy calls it anxiety, where there's insecurity and the other person's feeding it and they're causing a problem and you get spun up. Doesn't mean anything about what happened after this. We just know this is about a specific incident. She's open. She moves her body language. And Chase, I agree with you that if this were about her and violence and that kind of thing, she likely would be turning away and paying attention to what he's saying. The anxiety I see about her looking is, what is he going to say? Because we've been fighting. That's what I see. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah. So Look, I took a look at a baseline here. She put out a video of their trip. It's called Van Life. And you see the immaculate nature of inside the van, beautifully set up, lifestyle kind of vlog. Fantastic. Take a look at her feet. Her toenails are painted perfectly right now. That's got to be pretty hard to do when you're in van life. So there is a personality here that likes things in a particular manner. She's a YouTuber, and so that's actually, you know, particularly important as well at the same time, that perception management. So it's interesting. We see her, before she starts talking about being a nutritionist, we see her flick the hair back in a grooming gesture, but actually opens up these vulnerable areas of the body. So there is that sense of grooming and vulnerability at the same time. I totally agree, Chase. We see the waistband being moved in order to cover up the belly area. So there's an interesting difference between those two elements, you know, at the same time. Hands to heart before the confession of OCD. And we do see her hands go to her knees as she tries to control her breathing. Absolutely right. That's because she's been going through a heightened emotion. Most people can't deliver a heightened emotion for more than about 10 minutes. The body just can't take that breathing pattern. Okay. So she's trying to regroup her breathing. And yet, if it's accurate that this has been going on for several days, you've got an emotion which can last for about 10 minutes. You've got a mood which can go for hours. But when something sustains over many days, we'll often go, well, that might be an affective disorder. Okay. And it's interesting that we're getting this information that the father is knowing nothing of OCD. So are there other disorders going on here? You know, talking to what Greg's suggesting there is we may have some personalities jammed in a pressure cooker together, and that is not usually a good thing. The male, as we'll hear about later, has a tactic for that. He has a way of dealing with that he believes works really well. So keep that in mind. He told me I needed to calm down, and I want you to look at her knee and see how it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So there is some anger or some anxiety around that. I don't know which one, but usually that knee jiggle, that leg jiggle signals a lot of agitation around the idea there. I think that's all I got for you on that one.
Right. Great catch on that knee, Mark. Great catch.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to add one thing to the grooming gestures with the hair, Mark. A lot of times people do that to get that heat from them, get off them. You'll see people, women will do that when they have a lot of hair. They'll do that, flip their hair back, get some hair back to help them calm down. She's gotten out of that car. She's been fussing, and I think that's part of that as well. I had that written
What's
down.
Moab in August?
Yeah.
Never been
sure.
there.
Yeah,
The temperature is 800.
Fits her baseline in the van life as well. You see a lot of grooming in the van life stuff as well. Yeah. Oh, listen, one last thing I want to say about the baseline. You just reminded me. In van life, listen to her voice, way lower, way more considered. There is a moment in van life where she complains about the rainstorm that's coming. You'll hear a very naive, childish voice come out at that point under stress and pressure. It seems to me there's some, slight regression, a naivety, and that's probably juvenile is a better word. A more juvenile nature comes out, and I think we're seeing that more juvenile nature come out here under stress and pressure of the police and the emotions going on, which is not unusual, and again fits in with her baseline even for her YouTube work. Sorry, that's all I got on that one.
Excellent. I wish I'd seen that.
I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I had this email that was on the...
I don't know. Am I just like in a bad mood? And I'm trying.
Why don't we do this?
He really stresses me out, and this is a rough
Why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her. So, like, I lock the car and I walk away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything. So I give her time, and we really had a nice morning, if anything. But she just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go like barges before the sun goes down.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had her cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away. Because she wanted me, I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not, go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute because she was getting really worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me, so I got in the way. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push her, but I was just trying to push her away to go, let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And she got me with her phone.
All right, here's the part that I don't really get, right? He says, like, apparently he locked her out of the van, okay? Told her to calm down, which was a bad idea, and locked her out, and she was trying to get in, and, that's how he gets scratched, whatever. That's what the bystander said too, right? So, like, here's the thing, right? It's her van, you're the dude, okay? It's probably hot as balls out there, whatever. It's probably sweltering. So, to lock her out, right, and to just take over the van and just be like, yeah, you can stay outside, I'm gonna stay in here, I'm gonna lock the doors, right? Like, if he was the one that wanted to get away, why didn't he start walking? Why didn't he go somewhere? You know what I'm saying? She probably would have followed him, I get that, but, like, I don't know, I just find it weird that, like, he wouldn't let her in. He should have taken off and taken the breather. If he needed space, he needed a breather, why didn't he just take off and go get a breather and get space and leave her there? I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me, Alright, Modern Prospector says, hello Modern Prospector. Prospector, do you look for gems and crystals and icy rocks in your photo? I love that stuff. Can we be friends? Anyways, former law enforcement officer here, disabled. It's pretty clear that Gabby is a victim of battered woman syndrome. She accepts all responsibility and he accepts none. That's a really interesting point. I'm glad you said that. Yes, so thank you for your service. Yeah, it's really interesting to hear other people's perspectives because a lot of people think that, right? A lot of people think that because she immediately placed blame on herself, like immediately, almost as soon as the door opened, right? She was like basically saying it was her fault. I thought that was a little weird too, right? Because when we women, at least from my perspective, when we get mad at our significant other, like you'd be like, he's a freaking jerk, he locked me out of my car, I can't believe he did this, he, because, it's usually their fault. That's how women react. We react like he did this, he upset me, he. But she's like, no, me, I'm upset. The flies that bother me. I have OCD. I don't like this. I told him I'm mean. Okay, if you're mean, what is he doing to make you mean, right? Just saying. I'm not saying what she did to Brian is right. I want to make that clear, okay? She should have never, ever did anything to his face, scratched him, whatever it was. But listen, you gotta look at the whole scenario, because half truths are whole lies. You have the whole scenario, it starts to make a little more sense, right? Rocks are better than people. Yes, they are, Modern Prospector. They absolutely are. So cool you came through here. I love stuff like that. Yeah, I'll have to find you later so I can hit you up. Yeah, I have an Instagram if you want to follow me. It's t.spiracy, and I actually went mining for smoky quartz a couple weeks ago in New Hampshire on Moat Mountain, so that was fun. But alright, I'm not going to change the subject here. Let's get back into the video because I paused it on an important part anyways. Here we go.
See your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's from a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
Did she grab the wheel?
Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and then she grabbed the wheel.
What about the speed? Did she take over the... Did she take over the pedal on you?
If I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it's probably just the the moment of like, I'm still shaking now, the adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it took quite a bit to catch up to you. So, yeah.
I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water because we have a 6-gallon water container to fill up, so we're just grabbing water for the hike. Okay. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet because there's plans still to go for a hike, but it's good. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
Of course. Do me a favor. You want to go ahead and just take a seat right over here on the curb for me?
And if I was
Hey, Richard Davis. And that's the thing, right? And that's what I said the day that I played the footage. I'm like, would I feel this way if I didn't know what I knew now, right? So Richard says, would you feel the same if Gabby locked Brian out of his van after attacking her? No, I think first of all, I think he got attacked when she came in through the window or something like that and scratched him. So she was already locked out before he got scratched. That's the thing. But I understand your point. Your point is, would you treat it the same if it was, Brian scratching her? Like, I get your point, but I don't know, would I? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't know how I would feel not knowing what I know now. It's hard for me to sympathize with him, even though he's the one that got quote-unquote attacked, right? It's hard for me to sympathize with him knowing what I know, knowing that he didn't help find her or didn't say a thing, wouldn't cooperate. Like, it's hard for me I'll admit it, my view is definitely biased. Like, the other day I was like, yeah, go tell your mommy to put a band-aid on your scratches, but it doesn't make it right. So, I'm just saying, I'm willing to admit, I probably would maybe feel different. Yep, probably would. All right, let's go on here.
speeding, I'm sorry.
You don't have anything in my pocket or anything like that, do you?
Nope.
Just the wallet? All right. And then, do you mind lifting your shirt so I can check your waistband? Turn around for me real quick. Perfect. I just want to make sure. That's all, man. Go ahead, do me a favor, take a seat, all right?
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to just run down a list of things. I'm going to tell you something that studies have indicated, at least, and some people will disagree with it, I guarantee you, that ring to index finger is a good indicator of testosterone exposure in the womb and affects how your brain functions and all those kinds of things. Whether it works or not, I will tell you I've paid attention to that when I'm going to altercation in a business meeting or something with someone to look and see where testosterone is patterned in the brain. People who have high testosterone levels or a lot of exposure have higher risk profiles. That's usually the only real advantage to it or disadvantage. So they're more liable to take that altercation a little bit further and that kind of thing. Just take that for what it is. I'll leave that part there. What he does is he's open. Now, he does have fight or flight. You can't miss it. His eyes are a little wider. His breathing's a little increased, but he doesn't create an exoskeleton. He's not afraid enough to do that. He does illustrate with his hands, and there's some hemispheric I'll leave to you, Chase. But he does use his hands when he's talking about positive with one and negative with the other. He's open. He responds to every question. He responds appropriately. He gives more information, which is pretty typical. And if you don't believe that, when you get pulled over by a police officer and they say, "Can I have your license and registration?" What do you typically say? It's not, "Here they go." It's, "Well,
I'm sorry, I'm going to try to stop pausing it, but I just want to say, because I see this a lot too, right? Like Karma here, Karma says, Brian is probably blaming himself for leaving her because he couldn't find her. I think he harmed himself. Okay, if that is the case, why would he not cooperate? Why would he not say, hey, the last time I saw her was here? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what everybody struggles with. Like, okay, if it was something simple as that, right? I don't know, just say something, leaving her, if he's blaming himself and he feels bad, then he would help, that's the way I think that most of us are looking at it. He would help. Okay, let's go on here. His lawyer told him not to speak, right? I know, but if you love somebody and you want them to be put to rest or brought home, whatever it may be, you help. I get it. I get both sides. I get he has a Fifth Amendment right. I completely understand that. But when you love somebody, right, and you know they may be in danger or whatever the case is, right, do you really just not help and stay in the background? I mean, I just can't imagine doing that. Can't imagine doing it. But I get both sides, though. I really do. All right, let's go on here.
I was doing this or I was doing that, and they all know that that's BS. You're just trying to give information, trying to make it friendly, because our nature is either to attack or to take away that fight or flight, and that's what you see him doing here as well. I'm not going to cover a whole lot here, but I want you to pay attention to his demeanor and him being helpful and him talking about her grabbing the wheel.
I like this comment right here, right? Modern prospector is a former law enforcement. So he says, I'm assuming it's a he, sorry, I probably shouldn't assume, but I get innocent until proven guilty, but I've never seen someone act so guilty and end up being innocent. The way his parents are acting reflect how he was raised. Right. That's perfect. I get innocent until proven guilty, but I've never seen someone act so guilty and end up being innocent. Amen to that, right? Really good point. Perfect way to put it. All right, let's go on.
Now, later when we cover the rest of the story, we'll figure out what actually happened. But here you're seeing that. You're also seeing him here talking about having altercation where he tried to close the door and told her to get away and pushed her off, and he told her to calm down. So their stories are matching. You think that when somebody's trying to hide something, their stories wouldn't match. Now, this stop has nothing to do, as far as we know, with what happened to Miss Petito. What it does have to do is establishing where they were in this relationship at this point in time, which is a few weeks back. I'll leave it at that and say, Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I think he does start out to be actually dismissive of this blog that she's starting. When he says the word little before, she's starting a little blog or website. But his behavior is hyper compliant. And when I'm teaching intelligence people for interrogation or recruiting operations, we have a fight, flight, freeze response, but there's a fourth F that we add in there, who's a person who does friend. And that's the person who tries to make friends with the animal that's trying to kill it or the potential threat. And we're seeing that hyper compliance here. And this anxiety is likely from the police situation. The scratches story, when he's talking about the scratches, he doesn't try to disparage her at all. He says, I was trying to distance myself from that. He doesn't say her specifically. He was saying that, which means he's not trying to make her look a certain way at all. And when he says about the phone, he said, she had a phone in her hand, not she hit me with the phone, not she scratched me with the phone. None of the actions that she actually took. He's just trying to say she had a phone in her hand. It was an accident. And he's hyper compliant with the police. His head, and one of the quickest ways.
All right, what's up? Hold on. What's up? You want to come up here and correct me? Is that what you said? Or correct the chat, you rather? I want you to come up here and correct the chat. Okay. Here you go. Come on. Let's go. Let's talk. You know, I'm always willing to have a conversation. If you know something I don't, if I'm wrong or whatever, you know, if somebody in chat is giving wrong information, I mean, I can't really control that, but yeah, so there's that. So yeah, you're more than welcome. Come on. All right. Okay. Is the person's name Dollcow181? All right, I'm gonna bring you up. Yeah. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
What's up?
So I'm not trying to like say like gotcha. I'm just information and that I want to.
Okay. So now I have your name here as Dollcow81. So I didn't really see what was going on in the chat. I know that you said that you wanted to correct something. So the floor is yours, my friend.
So the first thing I saw was someone saying that, and I don't know why I apologize.
I'm sorry, you're a little muffled, honey. Can you say that part again? They're not allowed what?
I'm trying to echo on.
Yeah, sometimes the echo happens. Do you have it playing in the background? Like, do you have another window open or the app open behind you? You can't listen to the stream while you call in because sometimes that causes problems.
It's not letting me do one or the other.
All right, you sounded better when you just spoke there. Maybe you did fix it.
I turned my audio volume down.
There you go. Now I can hear you good.
Okay, so the first thing I saw was that someone said that she attacked him only after he locked her out, which is not true.
Okay.
They got into an altercation outside the convenience store that an eyewitness saw, came forward and said that he saw her hitting him, and he saw Brian put his arms up, likely in self-defense, but he said he couldn't confirm if it was an offensive or a defensive move. But Brian did say that he put his arms up to get space between the two of them, and only at that point, after she was already attacking him, did he get into the van, lock the door, and tell her, "Hey, you need to cool off." He didn't leave her on the side of the road. It was at a convenience store in a parking lot. So it's not like she was off wandering in the woods by herself. It was at a convenience store parking lot saying, "Hey, you need to calm down. Let's cool off. Let's get get your head straight, and then we'll continue." So I just want to correct that he didn't lock her out and then she attacked him. It was the other way around.
Okay, yeah, like I said in the chat when I typed in, like, maybe you're right, maybe it was after, I apologize for that, but either way, now, didn't I read too that, like, maybe I'm wrong about this, but didn't, she try to, like, reach in through the window and that's how he got scratched too? Did that not happen? Is that wrong information, do you know?
What Brian had said, and what Gabby had kind of corroborated was that when she was attacking him, not in the van, but in front of the convenience store, she had keys and her cell phone in her hands when she was originally attacking him, and that's what caused the scratches. The only thing I heard about her getting into the van was that the only way she was able to get into the van was through the driver's side door. But I have not heard anything from either Gabby or Brian or the eyewitness saying that that's when he was attacked.
I'm sorry, I had myself muted. I was responding. Yeah, thank you for calling to correct that, because I could have swore I read something. Listen, I have read, this is what happens to me, right? I have, like, gone from Facebook group to Facebook group, which I know are not, like, reliable things. I get that, but, like, I've read so many different things that, like, now I'm kind of jaded on, like, what happened first. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's
I think the only place that you can get true evidence is from the body cam footage. I mean, everything else is just pure speculation. This is our opinions on, their relationship. If it was toxic. That's all speculation. That's all objective opinions. But the only hard evidence we have is the body cam footage. So if you watch that in its entirety, it actually enlightens you on a lot of things. And I think it's the best place to get credible information, not just opinions on, social media.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from, like that he got scratched by her coming through the window or something. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, but you're right. I know I've listened to this like 3 times, so I thought maybe both happened. Maybe she did come through the window, and I don't know. But what do you think? Do you think that as a guy, right? Can you just, while I have you here, it's easy for us women to sit here and be like, oh, this is messed up. Like, it's definitely, it's him. Like, as a guy, now put the whole missing thing aside, right? Put the missing thing aside. Like, when you view that, like, what do you think? What's your initial reaction to the whole situation? I'm just curious.
Okay, so I definitely relate to the female perspective when they say, I've been in relationships that were toxic with behavior like his and this and that. I can get that because from the other standpoint, I've been in relationships where my partner was similar to how they described Gabby, with, she was kind of overly emotional, overreacting. And when they get in that state, it's really hard to get them just to kind of like do things with a level headed. It's to get to bring them down from that. They're really hyped up and agitated, and they have anxiety attacks. And it's not like saying that that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's a condition they have. And it's really hard in those moments, from my experience, to bring them down. So, I guess in a biased way, I related to Brian when I saw that body cam footage because I've been there. And a lot of women and females relate to Gabby because they've been there. So it's hard to remove that kind of that bias from that and approach it objectively. But before I saw that body cam footage, I thought 100% this dude killed her. And then I watched the body cam footage and I kind of noticed that, maybe not. Maybe it's more like 50-50 in my opinion now, because I think his demeanor and his actions and the way he was talking, just I don't think that was, this cold-blooded killer. I think if he did kill her, in my opinion, it was probably an accident. Or like in a fit of rage, not justifying it, but it wasn't like he's some cold-blooded Chris Watts killer. that's not something that I see at all.
All right, cool. Well, I always appreciate other people's perspectives, especially that, you sound like you're a younger dude, and I wanted to know what you thought about it. But it's really hard for me to look at it objectively and just be like, oh, this, because it's like my disdain for him not helping kind of overshadows that whole situation, and I'll be the first one to admit that too. But yeah, we women do react like that sometimes, definitely. I would just love to be a fly on the wall, no pun intended,
Right.
of what took place before then, but we'll
So
never get
one
to that.
commenter said, let's see what you say. The agitated state is a result of being mansplained on. And this is what I'm talking about. What people do is, if let's say, like I said, again, the body cam is the only evidence we have, and what we know from the eyewitness, from Brian, and from Gabby, that she assaulted Brian. So what I'm seeing is a lot of people coming in here and they're trying to justify the domestic violence from Gabby. And if that was the other way, if roles were reversed, nobody would be trying to justify and explain their way out of Brian attacking her. It's always, oh, she's smaller, she's only 110 pounds, she's a little girl, he's manipulative. Like, they're trying to justify her domestic violence. And I think that's wrong. It's a terrible approach. So we don't justify it when it's violence against women, but we're doing it now when it's against Brian. So that's the whole mansplaining and this page. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of think that everybody's just so jaded from the whole, like, okay, he won't help, he's a piece of crap, so obviously this whole situation was his fault. So really interesting opinion. Thank you. I'm glad that you called in and said that. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Anytime.
All right, cool. Thank you. See you in the chat. Bye. We have someone here named Brian. Really? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good.
Good. So what's going on?
No, I just wanted to call and say hi.
Hi. Is this okay? All right then. He hung up. Was that you, Mario? Okay. That's pretty funny. Just wanted to call and say hi. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Alright, so this guy sounds like the policeman trying. I don't know. I really do. What I try to do, guys, is I really try sometimes to put myself in other people's shoes, and I try to, like, look at it from a different perspective, and I don't know. Yeah, I just wonder what went on before that. And when I say the pun, the fly on the wall, because she hates flies, that's what I meant for those of you who didn't catch that, If somebody is in here trolling, now keep in mind I'm reading the chat on StreamYard, so it doesn't move like YouTube chat does. If someone in here is, like, disrespectful or being rude and, like, you've never seen their name, like, just get rid of them, because this is not the time or place. You know what I mean? You can come here with your opinions. You can even call in and tell me your opinion. I don't care. Just don't be a jerk in chat. I sound like I'm 13. Oh, okay. What did somebody say to me the other night? That I sound like that girl from Clueless or something. Let Diane up. They're pressed to come on the panel. Okay. You just have to listen. Here, this is how it's gonna do. What I'm gonna do. I shouldn't be just throwing people up on the screen. So, when you first come on, before I put you on the screen, give me a little wave. You don't need to show me your face. Just give me like a wave in the camera so I know you're a real person and not like a peen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna drop the thing here. I'll tell you before I put you on the screen. That way, you don't show your hand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All right, just be nice. That's all. Just be nice. That's it. Okay? So there's the link. I just dropped it in the chat. Don't use foul language. Don't be rude. Don't be a troll. You can call and say hi. That's fine. That's fine, but, just saying. But Jamie says, not bringing any humor to the situation, but who wants to bet KJ is gonna come out with a I was kidnapped story soon? Girl, anything's possible with her, right? For real. Okay, Brody says, I think Gabby killed the two women and then went on the run. The lesbian couple. Okay, so you think Gabby did? So you don't think Brian had anything to do with that? Like, usually when I hear people say, things like that. They'll say, I think Gabby and Brian did. I've never heard anybody just say, Gabby did. She doesn't strike me as like a rapist. I don't know. The women were found with their pants down. Whether they were assaulted, I don't know. I don't think they've figured that out yet. But they definitely were found with their pants down. There are a lot. I'm actually glad you brought that up because a lot of people keep talking about that, right? I'm glad you brought it up. Is there a connection? I believe the police said there's not, but you can't help but sit back and you go, I don't know, man. There's a lot of weird coincidences that are just kind of, suspect, but she doesn't strike me as a rapist. She doesn't. I mean, but who really does, right? I know. I get it. Haha. Who really does strike you as a rapist, AZ? I get it, dude. But let me see here. I wanted to tell you, for those of you who don't know about the other case that everybody's saying it's gotta be connected, I'll tell you some stuff here. Just give me 1 second. Because hold up. Okay, I see you, Diane. You can either leave your camera on or you can shut it off, one or the other. Okay. All right, so we got Diane here. Hello, Diane.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. By the way, you're doing an amazing job on this. I love
That's really
it.
nice. Thank you. Nobody ever calls to tell you how great you're doing, even with service in the real world, right? People like to
Right.
complain, but they never do that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know if you saw earlier, I said that I have my favorite true crime channels I always go to, but then as soon as you started covering it, I'm stuck on your channel because honestly, you're doing great. I love that um, are trying to look at it all the way around. So good job. But
Thanks, Diane. I appreciate it. And I'm not like the oracle here. I'd be the first one to tell you maybe I don't know everything I'm talking about. I'm just trying to have a conversation. But so what else is going on? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
yeah. So I just kind of wanted to give a perspective from I was abused from my father from as long as I could remember. And then unfortunately, I got in a marriage that was that way as well. And I just want to give a little bit of perspective on what possibly could have happened. Because, yes, there is the one report that guy just talked about, but there was also a call with a report that backed up how he grabbed her. Not that those things are super important, but what I want to say is something happened before they were pulled over that, none of us know. But I can tell you from going through this in my life, my dad beat me up in front of people even before, but then when the cops would come or I was taken to the hospital, um, I took the blame immediately because of what happened before, and I didn't want to get in even more trouble. I did that with my spouse also. But there's a reason that she thought he was going to leave her. And that doesn't happen just from one time. To get that upset and to believe that he was going to take the van and leave her. Now, I can't say, definitively that he did that before because we don't know. But most likely for her to react that way and climb through the window. And then another thing with domestic violence, scratches happen and they're not quite as um, important as if you have a bruise or you're hit. And especially where she had her phone and she was trying to get in, and whether, they started arguing and pushing each other before she climbed through the window, to me isn't quite as important as the fact of why was she so fearful that he was going to leave her in the van, because that was a very, very pretty big response to it. Because typically, yeah, if you're going to separate a little bit, you're not going to be trying to climb through the window on his side. So I think you have to look at that a little bit. And I think we have to make sure that we're not victim blaming, because we don't know exactly what happened, but something did before they were pulled over. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective. I mean, thank you for sharing, like, your personal life experience with that, because obviously not everybody can even think like that, because unless you've been there, you don't really know, right? So,
Right.
you're right, exactly. That's why I keep saying, like, I wish I could know what happened beforehand, like, and it's never okay to scratch somebody or hit somebody or whatever. But did I hear you say too that you heard about the other report too, the one about the window thing?
Yes, there were two people that called the police, not just one. And one of the people reported exactly what she said about him grabbing her by the it's kind of the jaw neck area. Okay. That's a little bit aggressive, but yeah. And then they saw her trying to climb in the window. So that's why, to me, the scratches don't seem to be very relevant here, because if you're going to be trying to climb in a window like that, yeah, you're going to, that's going to happen. And not that it's okay. I'm not at all saying that that's okay, but I think that there's a lot more relevance that's being put on
Right.
that.
You're absolutely right, and the fact that you could see the terror in her eyes, like of just being left behind, right? And that's exactly what's going on right now. Like literally, she's like, as far as we know, she's left behind, and that's scary. To that part, you're right. Everybody talks about like whose fault it was or whatever, but we need to remember, like she literally says, "I just don't want to be like left," and it's like
And it was
chilling.
a very intense reaction to that. We're not just talking about them having that conversation and her crying and getting upset. No, she even climbed in the window. And then when they were pulled over, um, she was still very hysterical about that. So I think that that's a little bit more important, is why did she react so bad? And by all means, no, it's not okay to scratch anyone or put your hands on anyone. But here's another thing too. Think about this, and maybe relationships and partners that you have. Are you going to grab the jaw neck to push back? Or are you going to do it on the chest? You know what I mean? That was a kind of aggressive, scary thing, but I don't know. That's been my experience, though. To be grabbed that way is scary.
Diane, I don't know why it just took me until like right now to realize that I know you.
Oh,
I'm like listening to you talk. I'm like, oh my god, durr. Like I know you. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like I'm like, hey, how didn't even put? You know me, girl. I didn't even put two and two together until just now. So, I like that. And the people in the chat who are like, you're all just biased women, blah blah blah. Okay, well, call in and tell us how you feel, because I literally just talked to a guy who gave me his perspective, and I thanked him for giving that perspective, and he did bring up some good points. Okay. So I don't know who you are in chat, whatever your problem is, but like, yo, have a conversation. Don't come in like telling me who I am, because that's not gonna fly around here. Like, listen, I'm not in the true crime community. Usually, I am like a tea person who likes to throw some salt. So you don't want it with me, okay? No, I'm just kidding. But really, you can come up and tell me how you really feel. But stop being a jerk in the chat, please.
It doesn't matter whether it was a male doing that or a female. And I know that probably people don't agree with me on that, but we're putting a lot on the scratches and what happened when, honestly, something happened before they ever got in that car. And we're all just giving, examples. And I'll tell you that a very similar thing happened with me with my dad, and he was going to leave me out in the middle of nowhere, and I fought to get back in there. And a month later, he did leave me. I had to walk for miles and miles to find someone to call to get my grandpa to fly me back home. So I think that there is some sort of fear she has. The conversation must have been had before, and then now we know that he did leave her. And yes, some people believe that it's a stunt or that she was gone when he came back, but we have to look at the whole picture. If he was trying to leave her there and then now she is left but he won't speak, that is not indicative of somebody who cares about their partner, is worried. If my partner, spouse, whatever happened, I'm going to go to the police right in that town and say, help me, she's gone. I'm going to call the parents, help me, they're gone. So when you look at the whole picture, especially, it's messed up.
It is messed up. And somebody in the chat just said how she demonstrates, and I think that behavior panel will get to it eventually, but when I like how someone in the chat just said this, like when she demonstrates with her hands around her neck, right? Like that's very telling too. All these little things. I mean, they could, it could be just be symboling. We could be digging in too deep. Maybe making mounds on molehills. I don't know, but Karma, stop putting yourself in his shoes. I mean, exactly. This is what I struggle with, dude. He didn't help, and that's the bottom line. It's just wrong, right? But anyways, all right, Diane, thanks for coming on and sharing your life story, because it's good to hear from somebody like you too, who's been in something similar. So I appreciate that.
You are so welcome, and thank you for letting me come up. I think I'll say this and then I'll let you go, of course, but I think we also need to look at not just the scratches, but the way that he grabbed her. And think, if someone grabbed you that way and pushed you up against the van, would you be fearful? I would. So, something to think about.
Absolutely is. Great point.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. See you later. I like Diane. I've talked to her before. She's pretty cool. All right. So next up we have Wade. Wade, can you just give me like a wave behind the screen? You don't need to show your face on my panel, but like, can you just give me a wave? Wade? No. Sometimes when people are waiting backstage, they can't hear. So, hi, Wade. Hello.
I had myself on mute.
Oh, it's okay. How you doing?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
I'm good, thank you. I really like Diane.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I like Diane too. I've talked to her a few times. She's got a good perspective here.
I hear myself echoing.
Okay, that's not normal. So basically what you have to do is you have to shut YouTube off in the background. So I don't know if you have it on an app behind StreamYard or something. You need to have just StreamYard open.
Yeah, I only have StreamYard open and I have headphones on.
All right, I'm going to mute myself and then you can start talking and we'll see if it goes away.
Okay. Yeah, I think I don't hear myself echoing at this point.
I can hear you fine. I think if I mute okay, I got a thumbs up. Yep. Okay. So if I mute myself, then everybody can hear you fine. So what's up, Wade? What do you want to talk about?
I think it's important for someone like Diane to bring balance to everything, because she sounds mature, like she's had some life experience and she's learned to overcome adversity. And to me, that's someone that's a bit of wisdom in her words. And I think that's what we need right now. Brandon or Dow Cow, whichever one he's going by, he and I kind of bumped heads yesterday, and I would be tempted to kind of bump heads again today. And Brandon, if you're listening, I have respect for you. I think you're intelligent, and it's not that the things you say are completely wrong, but you sound way too emotionally invested in the situation. And I don't know if you know Brian or what's going on, but I just think relax a little bit. I can't side with these people that are wanting to point fingers at Gabby and say that she was the aggressor. I don't think we have enough to go on for that. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I've heard multiple people say that the witness kind of reported Brian as the aggressor. Is there any truth to that or no?
No, no. I believe the witness just said there was an altercation. I believe she even said he had his hands up, right? Or he. It was someone named Christopher, I think, that the hands were up or something. But like I said, Diane told us, and I didn't even know this, that there were two reports, okay? So when I said something about the window and her going through the window, I guess there is another report, which I didn't even know about. So I'm going to have to go back and look at both of them because, that's why I'm kind of getting them intermixed, I think. So from what people saw, it did appear that, he had his hands up, he got inside and she was trying to get in, and she had her keys and her phone in her hand and like kind of just like swung at him, I guess, from what I understand. But I'm gonna have to go through and read it again. But I'm really glad that you're right. Diane definitely had a great point. So you said that somebody in the chat was like getting too emotionally invested. What do you know their name again? Can you tell me who it was? I forget what you said.
Well, it's the person that called in. I think Dalcow, DALLCOW or something like that. I think he also goes by Brandon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been very defensive of Brian in the sense that he very much sides with Brian in regard to the domestic violence incident, as if Brian's innocent and Gabby's the abuser. And I'm not going to say either way. I don't think we have enough to go on. But I can tell you, as a male who's also been in a situation with a girlfriend that was abusive, more kind of psychologically abusive than she was physical, but there's a couple of times where she did get physical. And I think she had I know she had told me one time that she had been in therapy and she was supposed to be on medication, things like that. And I never really pushed her on it because she didn't want to tell me. And I think as a man, that's just part of, we have gender roles, right? And women are more nurturing and things like that. And a man, you have to be able to withstand the hard times and be kind of the one to lean on and the one to not panic in situations and things like that. Emotional abuse is terrible. Yeah, but the thing is, and I think this could hold true for men and for women, is that we know what we're getting into. Now, why with women, I just feel differently about it. I don't understand. For women, especially until probably the last few decades, women had difficulty surviving in the world. So getting jobs and being able to support themselves and things like that, it's gotten a lot easier. But because of that, they were kind of stuck in situations they didn't want to be in. And I think even once the world changes, it takes time before the psychology of the situation changes, because you still grow up with a certain mindset of what your parents kind of instill into you. And so what the fuck am I talking about, V?
Wait. Let me give you a piece of advice, right? When I go on a panel, I don't even look at the chat, right? Because like literally it derails you. There's always somebody in the chat who's gonna say something, like literally every time. I don't even look at it because it's whatever. You're doing just fine. I don't know why people are having a hard time, like whatever, but not that I have anything much better to talk about. We're all just talking here, but I think you're doing fine. Don't pay attention to the chat, seriously. Leave my guest alone. Don't go, come up here. I got Wade here. He's being nice. Leave my guest alone. Be nice to my guest, okay? I'm nice to you guys. Be nice to my guest. I don't like that. Anyways, so yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I did notice. Know what I noticed, Wade? The people who get like really passionate about like Brian being the victim, they go like full throttle. They really do. And I'm starting to like put two and two together. Like maybe they've been through something where they can relate to Brian and that's why they get so emotionally invested. Kind of like some women do with Gabby, right? So it can go both ways. But I have noticed the people who side with him are like die hard, like in your face, like, just like that, right? Like I had someone go in a 22 comment rant on the video I put up about the body cam footage because you know, they were just like, this is the most biased, disgusting thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what? Listen, I'm going to tell you, like, look, I'm looking at it knowing what I know now. I'm looking at it as a girl. I'm looking, obviously that affects my outcome of it, of how I word, how I feel about it. I'm a commentary channel. What do you want from me? You know, everyone has their opinion. But have you noticed that too, though, that the guys that do that are a little much?
I think a lot of it has to do, so I'm older, right? I'm quite a bit older probably than you are, and that maybe some of the people in this chat are. And so I have a little different perspective on the world. I've had a little more life experience. I think from what I'm noticing, it seems that the younger generation that hasn't experienced some of the more challenging times in life, I think that they don't really understand. I don't know. And by the way, I love your accent. Are you like in the Brooklyn area, or where are you?
Oh, I'm actually south of Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people were asking last night, they're like, your accent? I'm like, what accent? I don't have an accent, but I really do. But yeah, Boston, Massachusetts, yep. That's where I'm from. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, I lived in Boston for a couple of years, and what I liked about New York and Boston both, and I realized the cultures are very different in the sense it's very competitive, especially through sports, but being from the South, like I am, the cultures are very similar to me. And there's a lot of strength, just especially with women in the Boston and New York area. And I like that. I love strong, opinionated women. But what I was going to say is for myself in a situation where the woman's the abuser, I know what I'm in, and I can choose to get out of that very easily. So the couple of times where she got physical with me, it caught me off guard, so I wasn't really prepared for it. And the second time I reacted much better. Because what I realized is it was not an attack on me in this particular situation. For some people it might be, but what I realized is she was expressing her pain from the inside. And I knew I wasn't the one that was hurting her, but she was still lashing out on me. And so I analyzed the situation in my mind, like what just took place here? And so what I decided is that she had a lot of insecurities. She didn't really feel safe with men in general. Probably came from her own father, probably came from past relationships, whatever it was. And so I thought, I have a choice here. I can stay in this relationship and help nurture her and let her know that she does have a place to feel safe and that this is possible, or I can step out of the situation. But to retaliate on her and try to hurt her, for instance, I don't know if you're calling me a weirdo, but that's funny. To hurt her doesn't.
Listen. Pause for a second. Wait, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. Like literally, he's talking about his male perspective from being in a dynamic of like a semi like abusive relationship. And for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? Like, get out of here. Just leave. You don't know what he's talking about. You don't want to listen. You want to be a jerk to my guests. Just leave. Do yourself a favor. Okay. Let's go.
It really doesn't bother me. I was born in the internet, so I've seen it all and experienced it all, and I've even done a little trolling myself. So, but what I'm talking about here is very serious. And I think, again, from a man's perspective, we grow up wrestling and fighting and these kind of things. A woman is not really a threat to us, especially a woman as small as Gabby. So, and like in my personal situation, the first time that she attacked me, I wrapped my arms around her and tried to just restrain her to keep her from hitting me. And I just said, calm down. But her response to that was, let me go or I'm calling the police. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's not going to end well for me, right? I mean, the man is always going to be the one that's going to get taken away or whatever. So I immediately just let go, and she didn't attack me further from that, and it kind of cooled down. So that worked out okay. But the next time that she attacked me like that, I had a better perspective on what was taking place. And I just simply said, hey, you know what? What's going on? Are you okay? I love you. Let me give you a hug, that kind of thing. That actually made her angry for a moment too. But the point is, as men, we don't need to be aggressive in that situation. There's no real threat to, and anything can happen, sure. Like she might get some lucky punch or something with the phone. And yeah, I don't know. But I personally have never felt threatened in a situation like that. And I can't imagine that he did either. So to grab her face and push her away, to me, that's very aggressive. And that's losing your temper in a situation where you don't need to, because this is the person that you love, that you're supposed to be given a safe home to. And just to kind of wrap up my story, she eventually dumped me. She cheated on me. And I mean, I was kind of a fool for staying as long as I did. But she called me like a year later, and she said, we hadn't talked to each other for several months. And she said, hey, I just called to let you know you're the only man I ever felt safe with. And so at that point, I thought, okay, all that, I never really told her that's what I was trying to do. I never said, hey, I want you to feel comfortable. But at some point, I think that because I gave her that, and I don't see that Brian is doing that, but he's much younger than I was too at the time. And so I just see him, whether he was the aggressor or not, it's his responsibility to withstand that or step away. You don't hurt someone that's lashing out at you out of pain. It's a little bit different it's a different type of abuse. I'm not saying it's not abusive, and I'm not saying it's okay. But typically when men are abusive, it's because they're trying to control a person. They're jealous. They want to keep this person confined because they're insecure and those kind of things. Usually in a situation like what I see Gabby, when I look at the body cam footage, she's hurting internally because she doesn't feel safe. And she doesn't know what to do about the situation because she's not someone that's used to surviving in the world alone. She's had her parents shelter her, or she's always been somewhere where somebody was protecting her. And now she's in a situation where she doesn't feel safe. And you can see that in her body language in that footage. Whereas Brian is laughing it off and everything's okay. So Brian's in control of the situation. And that's just kind of my perspective on it.
Exactly. Brian, that's a great point. Brian knows that he's the alpha, for lack of a better term, right? Like, he's got this under control. He can get the van, he can get the keys. He's in control of the situation, and she's seems like literally, like someone said last night when they called in, she seems like a helpless little girl, and that kind of makes us feel, intensifies our feelings of sadness for her, right? So yeah, I agree. And listen, you said that girl who kind of did the same kind of things to you basically ended up being a cheater, right? And that's usually what it is. People like this have such low self-esteem, right, that they lash out, and sometimes they end up being crappy people and being cheaters because they're just low self-esteem people, and they're constantly looking for reassurance from anybody and everybody. So just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that's related to Gabby and freaking Brian, but thank you for calling in, Wade. I appreciate your perspective, and yeah, call back again sometime. All right.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye. All right, so next up we have Alicia. Hi, Alicia.
Hey, girl. Hey.
What's going on?
Good. Let me try to get this echo off. All right, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. When I go to tell you to talk, I'm gonna mute myself. So I'll unmute myself when I respond. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what's up, Alicia? Go ahead.
So I guess I got up early just to watch this, but I just don't think that Brian, just an educated man such as himself, would be malice to, I guess, kill Gabby. Do you possibly think it could be a mistake? I mean, educated, middle class. I don't know. I can't get it to me to think that.
That's a good point, right? But you gotta remember, I think Pink Flamingo knows a lot about killers and stuff. A lot of them are from what I know anyways, and I'm no professional, again, PSA, no professional. A lot of serial killers are highly intelligent people. I'm not saying he's a serial killer, I'm just using it as an example. One's intelligence level, I don't think really I agree. I think Brian seems very intelligent. I do. I think he's artistic, he's intelligent, and I can't use someone's intelligence to think if that would be them doing something like that. Do you know? But you also asked me too was do you think it could have been an accident? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my second option. It was an accident and he got nervous and left or whatever. So, I definitely think that that could be it too, because when you're hiking and there's a lot of things that can happen, there's a lot of animals, there's a lot of rocks, there's a lot of water. I mean, the list goes on. There's constant threats, right? So maybe they weren't getting along, something happened to her and he just didn't help her. I mean, who knows? Ted Bundy was extremely intelligent, Shay, exactly. So yeah, I mean, just something to think about. I do see a lot of people saying that though, like in the groups and stuff. They're like, "No way, he's too smart." Blah blah blah. I really don't think intelligence plays much of a role in my decision, anyways, or whether I think someone's guilty.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good
Alright,
point.
Alicia.
Oh, and one more thing I wanted to bring up. A lot of people in the chat were bringing up that the two female couple that was murdered could be associated. I know one person said that Gabby could have done it, and I mean, come on, let's be real. I don't think that that would ever happen. But what are your thoughts on the coincidence? And
I think it's so coincidental, right? Like, I guess that Moab is like a really small place. It's not people wise, not landmass, but population wise, from what I understand. And to have that happen in the same time frame, also by people who are also camping, it's just really strange. Right now, I do know there was like a press release, not a video one. It was like a paper that said, and I think it was from the sheriff's office too, from what is it called, Port, whatever, in Florida, Port something, I forget the name of it right now, but they said it wasn't connected, right? So I don't know if that came out 2 days ago, I think, but Kimberly, thank you for becoming a member. So I guess they released something that said it's not related, right? They have no reason to believe it's related or something along the lines of that. But I agree, man. It's what are the odds? I mean, and it's not Northport. Thank you, Rachel. And it wasn't just them either. It wasn't just like the two women that were married there. There was another guy and then another guy, and all within like a month and a half, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very strange stuff. But
awesome. Well, thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, Alicia. Thanks for calling and come back sometime.
Oh, I will.
All right, bye. All right, we got one more person here. We got Luigi. Oh, is Luigi gonna be Mario's brother? Hello?
Hey, it's me, Luigi. I'm Mario's brother.
I fucking knew it, dude. I knew it. I looked at him like, wait a minute here. Hey, Luigi.
Hey. I hope you have a nice day.
You too. Go smash some mushrooms. Jump over some some tunnels. Go rescue the princess. Yeah, dude. Yo, we are like, you're my brother from another mother. We just said rescue the princess at the same time. I think it was meant to be. I love that Mario calls in randomly, just say hi to me, and just try to bring some light to a very dark conversation. Thanks, Mario. Or Luigi, whatever your name is. Anyways, guys. Alright, so I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna end this, but, real quick before whoa, we're coming up on 3 hours. I never stream for this long, ever. So I'll probably come back later, and maybe we can talk more about, the murders, right? The other ones that went on in that area, and why people think it's connected, and the details surrounding that. So if you're interested, I don't know, maybe not, but I'm curious what Brian did for work. Anyone know? Diane says. Does anybody know? Did he work for his parents? Oh, he worked at a grocery store, Publix, right? He worked at Publix, yeah, because one of his coworkers came out, Diane, and they said that at work at Publix he would talk about how he was saving up for a road trip and things like that. So, the name of the channel I was playing. I'm sorry, I thought I linked it at the top. Oh, I did. It's pinned. It's pinned in the comment section. So if you guys want to notice, at the top in the comments right here, it says subscribe to the behavior panel, right? If you click that, actually I'll just re-click it again. If you click that, it will take you to their channel, and they have really interesting stuff, all the way from the Watts case. I mean, everything that happens, right? They had one of my favorite ones they ever did. This is how I got hooked on the behavior panel, right? They did one on the R. Kelly interview with Gayle King, and I was like instantly hooked on that channel. So if you're bored, you maybe want to watch one of their videos. That one is really interesting. I think it's one of their best ones. So just saying. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you for calling in and talking. Wade, Alicia, oh my God, Wade, Alicia, Diane, Derp, Wade, Alicia, Diane, Luigi. Thanks, guys. Probably forgetting somebody, but you know me. Yeah. So we'll regroup later on. So I'll talk to you later, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.